The drug dealers, the robbers, and the crooks.
Well, actually...
Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just to by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. To the videos, they thought I was a black guy. That's hard to get over. A foreigner in the sport, but I'm fully devoted. I don't take it for granted that the door's been open. I knew I was different, I knew I was chosen. A breadwinner, but I'm soft-spoken. Authentic like a 5950 and there's no cap. Let's have a toast to that. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the They done baptized the bad guy. Still don't follow religion. The fabric's not average. The cotton's Egyptian. 500 for the shoes, come dirty, but the European. Less is more and less is the bank. Up the score, I pull up from trade. From the tray, I'm ballin' like Trey. Do what I can, I do what you can't. I wrote this 30,000 feet up. 10 toes, stay G'd up. I'm tryna get that type of wealth, like a house on the hills, can't see us. Say the money still me up. Stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff. And if you know the deal, then you know the deal. If it's real, then you know.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This your man Marcus A. Brown, and I'm here to tell y'all that I just got done with my first consultation with the brother Andre of Love Crossing Borders. I just wanted to give him his praises. I need y'all to do two things if you haven't already. If you haven't, subscribe to his YouTube channel, Love Crossing Borders. Also, if you are going to Colombia, if you're thinking of going anywhere, traveling internationally, please consider booking a consultation with the OG Andre of Love Crossing Borders. You will not be disappointed. I'm a fan of the channel, so I booked a 2-hour session just to show support, just to show love and say what's up. He provided a wealth of information, way more than I was even expected. He has an excellent presentation. So I just wanted to let y'all know you will not be disappointed. Book the consultation, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Dre, man, I appreciate you. I will be out in Colombia, and I look forward to linking up with you. And y'all, get in tune with him if you haven't already. Tell him MAB sent you. Peace.
Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real.
Where are all the black men? And I'm not talking about the scammers, the drug dealers, the robbers, and the crooks.
Well, actually...
Lee. You would think after 200 plus, almost 250 years after the end of slavery, you would see more of us that are of the black descent unified. Then came the Reformation age. No unification. Jim Crow, no unification. Then we saw a glimpse of togetherness during the civil rights movement. And we thought that from the outskirts of that things were going to be on point. We had Black Power. We had civil rights leaders. It was the 60s and 70s. We owned our own businesses. Everybody could purchase a house and a car. They were so inexpensive. Then came redlining of houses and the drugs. And the school to prison pipeline began. And that unification that we thought that we would finally see among black people, well, that never came. And due to the fact that never came, fast forward to those of us who have passports. Now, you think that finally, not just in the military or on business, seeing men of color travel would be motivating to other men and women back in the United States. But as the passport bros have found out over the last 4 to 5 years, that you become public enemy number one. You are not liked or appreciated in the Black community. And the number one reason, the plantation bros and sisters. There are Black people that are determined to prove that we do not need to exodus the United States. Now, we know everybody's not going to leave. Most people aren't going to leave the United States, but the few of us that have dared to tread into other countries, well, we've managed to piss off quite a few people back home on the plantation. This episode is about encouraging you who are thinking about, who are on the fence when it comes to whether you want to go travel for the first time in international waters, cross international seas, cross the air, whether you want to relocate to another country. This episode is dedicated to you, because you're going to get to that point just like we did. You're going to get to that crossroads, and you're going to have to ask yourself, are you going to be that passport bro, blue book gentleman, passport cartel, expat, enlightened man, enlightened woman? Or do you think the life that you have is the best life that God has for Black people back on the plantation? Do you really think that when Black people could afford to have houses in the 60s and 70s, and Black people were together in marriages at an 80% clip, do you really think life is better now or back then? Those are the questions that we're going to be asking ourselves tonight on Andre and Andres Love Crossing Borders. But until then, shout out to all you guys that are here. We're going to have some fun. We are going to have some fun tonight, gentlemen. This is one of those shows to keep you guys motivated who are thinking about relocating to another country or visiting another country for the first time or the 50th time. Doesn't matter. This episode is dedicated to those of you who are thinking about finally treating the United States for what it is. Our home is a corporation. It's still our home. I'll say this again. Our home is a corporation, yet it's still our home. We believe and love the United States, the country. Our country is still 'tis of thee. It's still sweet land of liberty. But there are those of us who realize that there are some kinks in the armor, no matter how many countries we bomb. Shout out to David Dice with the super chat. First one with the super chat. Shout out to all you guys who are supporting the channel by way of PayPal, Cash App, and super chats. Remember, when you support by Cash App, that means that we do not lose the extra 40% that YouTube takes away. So we get all the whatever donation that you want to give to us tonight. When you're sitting there by way of Cash App that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen, or PayPal, you will not be losing out 40% of your hard-earned money by supporting the channel. Shout out to all you guys that are here. And starting with David Dice. David says this. He said, Andre, you said a lot of great things that I personally use daily. But the greatest thing that you said was, I'm not loyal to skin color. My loyal is to quality people. Absolutely correct. That helped me greatly. Oh, yes. I don't care about what particular color brand that we walk, or what race brand we walk around with. I don't care if it's white or you call them Caucasian. I don't care if they're Asian or if you want to call them by what country they're from. I don't care if they're Latina or Latino or you want to call them by whatever flag they represent. I don't care if you're dark skinned black, light skinned black. I don't care. If you are a quality person, you are on my team and I'm on your team. I support you. I pray for you. I keep you lifted up as a quality person, male or female, or even those who are of the LGBTQ community, and you're traveling. I keep you lifted up in prayer all the time because I want the best for those of us who are, yes, quality people. Shout out to my brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get the shout outs going, gentlemen. Once again, David is numero uno this evening. He say, family, friends, Andre and Andrea love crossing borders. We must be doing something right. Yes, sir. He knows me oh so well. We must be doing something right because we got my brother Don, aka Don, or the Don JP is in the building. Good evening to you as well, Don. Glad to see you here. And what have we done? This is a streak going on. This is a streak. Shout out to my brother, Hombre Lobo. Hombre Lobo is in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Yes, sir. Glad to see that you're here. Let me scroll down a little further. See who else we got. We got Bobby Coltrane of the Coltrane family, that is, in the building. Glad to see you here with my boy, the Twan in the building. Salute to you, Twan. Glad to see you here, brother. Oh, we're gonna have a fun one tonight, Twan. Sit back, enjoy yourself, man. We're gonna hear, cause tonight, Plantation bros are all over TikTok. Plantation sisters are all over TikTok. And they are adamant about the fact, like, listen, we are not leaving. To all the Plantation bros and the Plantation sisters, we don't want you to leave. We don't. I don't know why y'all think that black men and black women that travel want y'all to follow us. No. If you want to stay stuck in the United States and pay for the bombing of countries, struggle, watch your parents struggle. I was watching a show the other day, and a man went to the hospital and he lied to his physician. And the doctors were like, well, what happened? Have you been, you got medication? He said, yes. Have you been taking your medication? He's like, yeah. They did examinations. They said, bruh, we could tell you have not been taking your medication. So tell us the truth. And you know what the truth was? The old dude had to say, well, the truth is I take my medication only twice a week. Because each one of the pills are $100 a lick. No, he said he was like 100 for 90, my bad. Almost $10 a pill. He said, I can't afford that. I'm retired. I'm on what's called in the United States a fixed income. I can't go any higher or any lower. And so in exchange to get food to eat, he was only taking his medication twice a week. It ended up in the hospital anyway. That's our country, 'tis of thee. That's America. And you're going to hear a lot of brothers and sisters talking about it. But before we talk about America, we got to talk about our Canadian brothers.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
Shout out to Black Nubian in the building. The Canadian boys are at it again. Yes, sir. Glad to see you here, brother. Glad to see you here. I mean that one. Let's scroll down a little further. Show some love to everybody. We got Twan. We got Self-Mastery in the building. Yes, sir. That's how you live life, Todd. Self-Mastery. Glad to see that you're here. Shout out to Todd in Bogota, him and his family, and all the things that they're doing down there. If you guys need any information on when you go to Bogota or places to stay or things to do, or you just need somebody to fellowship with when you get there, hit me up. I'll connect you with your man Todd. He might even do a consultation with you to walk you through. So, because Bogota, think about it, Bogota is like the 31st largest city in the world. So we're not talking about some small little city. It's way bigger than Medellin. We're talking about a city that's the size of New York. It's actually twice the size of Chicago land mass. And it's right up there when it comes to population, when it comes to New York City. So if you need somebody that's going to show you some love in Bogota that speaks fluent Espanol, That's the brother right there. Shout out to my man Todd, man. And make sure you guys, hey Todd, do me a favor. Drop the link to your YouTube channel so guys can subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. Yes, sir. Once again, David Dice in the building. He say, family, Andre and Andrea, we have another live. We must be doing something right. Yes, sir. And my man Bronx is in the building. Glad to see you're here, man. Glad to see you here. As well as Ellis. Yeah. I mentioned this last year that World War III will not be among the large countries. I'm going to stand on this. World War III will be the large countries using the smaller countries to do battle. It will not be an attack on the larger countries. Russia, no. United States, no. China, no. It's going to be all these small countries that these larger countries are using. Just like you've got bases that are already being set up in different countries of Africa for the Chinese and the Japanese. Just like you got here in South America, North America is trying to take over South America. Okay. Did not Trump and them give $40 billion to Argentina? You know why? Because Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay is a lithium capital, you know, for batteries and stuff. That's why they're trying to buy them. Colombia, they're trying to get petroleum from Colombia. Venezuela, do they need no good Venezuelan oil? No. Who needs Venezuelan oil than going over there and get Venezuelan oil and getting lithium from Argentina? China. Who was getting oil from Iran? China. Who is America trying to do battle with? China. Is America using large bombs and bombarding China? No. What is America doing? It's going after smaller countries. China is establishing itself in smaller countries in Africa and in South America. Same thing that the United States is trying to do. They don't care anything about the Venezuelans. They don't care anything about the Iranians. When last time in your lifetime, have you ever had a president in the United States that gave a dang about Iran? We've bombed over there 100 times. Iran and Iraq, come on now. So why are they over there trying to be friends and be peaceful with them? Because they're trying to blockade the oil that China gets. That's what that's all about. So yes, World War III has started, but it will be the smaller countries that they use like a chessboard. Now, it won't be just the larger country. Shout out to Mr. Ben in the building. Shout out to you. Glad to see that you're here, brother. He says, so far, too many black folks put their skin color on that's a good way of putting it, on a pedestal. And they're saying the saying goes, Rick Sanchez for Rick and from Rick and Morty. I got to get my Rick and Morty back on. Got to get back on top of that. Shout out to Rick and Morty. He said, I'm not concerned with your boos because I've seen what y'all cheering. Boy, that's a good way of putting it. I am not concerned with y'all boos because I've seen what y'all cheering for. Do not let that go over your head. What's good, brother? I'm doing great, man, Mr. J or MJ. I'm doing good. I cannot complain. We went to church service this morning right around 9 o'clock. Then I had some homework to do. Then I had a consultation to do. And now I'm here with you, brother. So this is my relaxation time. Our relaxation time. MJB is in the building. Glad to see you here, man. My brother Kenny Peoples. I got a couple of really good videos from you, Kenny, this week. Shout out to you, man. I'm going to be using some of those this week. Kenny said, this Bama, I keep done traumatized us last night with big. He said taxis Oh, damn you, Dre. That was a fun episode. I was telling my man Sean today. I said, did you see the tax season episode? He was like, no, I ain't see it. I said, man, brothers was mad last night because a whole live stream full of big girls. I am going to make up for you guys this week. We're going to be doing the Lasian episode. We're going to be doing number 2 of the Lasian episode. What's the Lasians? The Latinas that are Asian. So this week, probably Monday or Tuesday, I'll be doing, no, actually Monday, we'll be doing the episode of the Lasians. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If we don't do it Monday, tomorrow, we'll be doing it on Wednesday. So I'll be making up for that for that episode. You guys did not like that episode last night. Let me scroll down a little further. Shout out to my brother being in first class. He's always first class. Yes, sir. He said, hey, yo, all right. He said, what's up, family? World War II, World War III is among us. Might as well get the World War III t-shirts going. Yes, sir. I'm collecting data in the building as well as my brother Keith Hamilton. Yes, sir. Shout out to my brother Keith and representing. Glad to see. Shout out to all the truck drivers out there, man, doing your thing, keeping the roads, keeping all the products that we need going smoothly. And shout out to my brother, Mr. Darkest himself, the navigator. He says this, and they can say what they want right here in America. Meanwhile, I'm out. See ya. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. They can talk all they want. You're going to hear that tonight, man. I kid you not. We're going to talk about, before we get started, we're going to take just a few moments out to talk about some of the things you're going to hear tonight that I keep hearing over and over and over again being regurgitated by Black people in the States. They say not traveling is like reading one page of a large book. That's a good way of putting it. Whoa. We got the Rick and Morty. Now we got even more knowledge and insight. He said, not traveling is like reading one page of a large book. You miss so much. I got to keep using that. Man, you guys are dropping some gems tonight. Shout out to Jeffrey Rice of the Rice family in the building. He said passports are still going crazy. They just not saying it. It pisses off the ladies. That's so true too. And my favorite YouTube name, The African Wolf, is in the building. Shout out to you. He said, brother, y'all get your passports and leave 2026 Exodus from the plantation. Man, listen, however you got to do it, if you got to, like I always say, whether it be 5 months, 5 years, or 15 years. You know, the guys that still got your mom to take care of, dad, you still got your kids' responsibility, and you may not be able to leave out in 15 years. So be it. But you still get a chance within that time period to travel back and forth to see what countries in which you might want to live in by the time you get ready to leave. He say, this is the year, make moves. You guys can see things that I can't even see. So you guys are adamant about that. Shout out to my brother AZ in the building. Shout out to the West Coast boys out there. Let me show the West Coast some love. Show the West Coast some love. Yes, sir. Shout out to Bean in the building as well. Glad you see. He said, what's up, Dre? He said, how you feeling this Sunday night? Man, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel pretty good. I'm excited. Anytime I get a chance to talk about those of us who are either planning to leave the United States someday or who have already left, compared to those that are going to still be there, I love these episodes because they keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. We're going to get to it in a second. Over and over again. They just keep repeating the same thing. We're like, come on, dude. Give us something else. Another reason why y'all stand in the States. Give us another reason. So we're going to talk about some of the things that they say. Shout out to man. Oh, we doing good tonight. We doing good tonight. We got my man Chris Jeezy in the building. Yes, sir. He said, I'm late. He said, I started from the beginning. He said, I'm 7 minutes behind. He said, you got to get the playbook on the first 6X. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we also doing good tonight because we got Big Brother in Life in the building. Yes, sir. Glad to see you here. He said, Big Girl said, choosing fee going up this year. Yes, sir. Big Girl's like, listen, you're going to have to stay around a little bit longer this tax season. You can't just leave on May 1st. You can't just leave her on May 1st and then come back next year. Jeremiah. There we go. There we go. I love some good old-fashioned scripture. Let me write that down. Jeremiah 49. Current events. Cool. Perfect. Make sure I got it. There we go. All right. I got my amplified Bible right here. Was blind folks, you see how big my Bible is. Was blind folks, it's got the amplified. So when I'm in church, I got the big letters if I don't have my glasses on with me. So yeah, shout out to you, brothers. And then I also got another one that's from Todd, as a gift from Todd. That's an English and Spanish Bible. I have that as well that I enjoy. Shout out to Todd. Shout out to my man Derek Wee in the building. Derek says this. We got 95 in a bit. Shout out to you guys. I might not be able to get everybody in. Shout out to you guys. He said, I'm glad that I'm overseas in Southeast Asia with all that. Dude, we're going to talk about that in a second, man. We're going to talk about that in a second. Shout out to my brother, the mixed American in the building once again. He said with the Philippines and with Richie Mack, aka Zoom to Thailand. He say to you, yes sir, W to you, or welcome or hello to you, Andre. Appreciate you, man. Really do, man. I love when you guys show up. Let me scroll down, make sure I got everybody, such as my brother Nick is in the building. Good evening to you, brethren, as well as my brother Kofa in the building. We got Flicky Sticky tonight. What did we do right? Sir, he said we don't negotiate with terrorists. I agree with that. They're trying to terrorize our passport movement, man. They're trying to terrorize our passport. Dre. Hey, Dre, they're trying to terrorize our passport movement. We're not going to let them do that, man. He said 2026 Exodus period now. He said if not Colombia, then Europe, yep. Either way, I'm planning. And we also got my brother AMSM in the building. Salute to you, a man supporting men. He said, Dre, can you do an episode on trying to convince our parents who are elderly? You know what? This is going to touch on that tonight. And I've been kind of like, tonight's episode originally was going to be dedicated to seniors that need to relocate. So I'm going to be doing an episode in regards to that. Tonight's episode kind of did a twist as I was doing the homework, but it was supposed to be about seniors that have relocated and the reason why others haven't. So just like we're doing the one with Black people tonight, this upcoming week, we're going to do the one with seniors. Yes, sir. That's a good point. You and I on the same wavelength, Dave. E-Man Perry is in the building as well. Shout out to E-Man, my boy. And El Patron. Yes, sir. He said, what's good, Dre? He said, salute everyone. He said, I'm rocking Latafa Assad Elixir tonight. You know what? I'm going to join you because I didn't put on the cologne yet. Here. Yeah, I didn't grab a cologne for tonight. So cologne for tonight is going to be wait a minute, I got the wrong one. I just grabbed the wrong one. I got a Latafa Assad Elixir. But it's sitting all the way in the back. So I'm going to just do the Nitro Intense Elixir. We've been talking about this the past couple of days. This is a clone of like a $20, $25 clone of YSL Myself. Excellent cologne for a dude. If you want to smell good for the ladies, this is one. This is a clubbing scent, good sex scent to have sex in. The church, the office, YSL Myself is excellent. I've got the elixir in the back, all the way in the back. That's the cologne of the night. Shout out to all the elixir wearers. Okay. Ooh, that smells good. Bobby Coltrane says, new year, new energy, new direction. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to official Kobe being in the building as well. Yes, sir. As well as we got Jay Casey in the building as well. We're doing some salute, fellas. Salute. We got Jay in the building. He said the women overseas much better. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bobby says, Dre, you want to get the Ethiopian Bible? That's two. That's on my list of books to add to my. It's kind of funny that you would mention that. I was thinking about the Ethiopian Bible the other day because I want to add that to my collection. I was actually studying that about a week ago. You know, you're studying stuff on YouTube. You know, me and Andre kind of book nerds. So just in case you ever wonder, that's us. And so I was thinking about while I was studying, I said, yeah, I got to get a copy of the Ethiopian Bible. Yes, sir. Perry said, I'm done with Trump. Shout out to my brother Will in the building. Yes, sir. My neighbor. He said, Dre, please check your PayPal. I'll check that out. Yes, sir, gentlemen. And shout out to Will with the $10 love over on the PayPal. Appreciate that, brother. And appreciate you guys supporting by way of PayPal, Cash App, as well as the Super Chats. So it looks like I got everybody. El Patron said this. He said, that's a good one too, Dre. He said that Nitro Elixir is loud. It's really beast mode scent. Yes, it is. It's a beast mode scent, but it's good, guys. It is a beast mode. You're going to get smelled, but you're going to smell good even from afar. And last but not least is our brother Tevin King. Salutations to everyone in the chat. Please hit that like button on your way in. Thank you. Yes, sir, gentlemen. Let's get ready to get started. We got 87 people in the building. Let's get ready to get started. I'm going to change the music over. I want to talk about two things real quick in regards to this particular subject. You know, the plantation bros versus the so-called passport bros or expat movement. There are times, man, and I know some of you guys say I don't feel that. I've said this before. There are times where I feel like I'm on a rowboat. You know how I feel living outside the United States? I feel like I'm standing on top of the iceberg that the Titanic ran into. A lot of people talk about the boat, talk about the lifeboats. I've heard talk about the boat who they try to reach out to the Titanic, but they never got any help. Nobody talks about the iceberg. The Titanic didn't survive, but the iceberg did. The iceberg did not sink. It still was there. I feel like I'm standing on top of the iceberg with a lot of you guys. We're just standing there and we're looking down and we're seeing all these people running back and forth across the deck of the United States. We're seeing children, people of different races, economics, status. We're not in the rowboat looking up. We're literally on the iceberg looking down, and we watching it all unfold. And there are rich people that can't believe that the Titanic is going down, but it's going down. There are poor people that are running from the lower level to the top level, trying to find a way to get off, but it's going down. older people, little kids running back and forth. And all we can do is just stand on the iceberg and watch it go down. And I feel like that quite often. I have to pray about that. There's sometimes, I kid you not, man, I have to step away from America and what's going on over there. That's how tragic it is. I can't keep watching ICE. I can't keep watching police brutality. I can't keep watching sisters that are with the fake baby hair and the giant eyelashes. I can't keep watching sisters brawling and fighting all the time in public. I can't keep watching white dudes get knocked the hell out because they keep saying the word nigger. How about I put it like that? There's only so much of America that I can take, bruh, while standing on top of the iceberg. If I was in it with you guys, and I mean this, I'm not being a smarty. I mean this. If I was in it, I probably wouldn't notice everything that's going on around me because I would be in Tampa, and I would only focus on things, for the most part, what's going on in Tampa. And I would be like you. Things are so expensive. I would be distracted with making money only. I wouldn't think about family. I have a few friends, but I really wouldn't notice the United States on a macro scale. But that's not now. And there are thousands of us that have used our passports, and we're standing on top of that iceberg that the Titanic slammed into, and we watching y'all sink. And y'all think we don't know what we're talking about, and we're literally watching you sink. America will never. We hope it doesn't. Nobody's hoping evil on America. If you hate America, we don't hate America. We're just standing on top of an iceberg, and we see what we see. Tonight, you're going to hear some things from Black people. Shout out to our people. The reasons why they decide to stay. Number one, we built this country. We built this country. We ain't going nowhere. We put all of our blood, sweat, and tears into this country, and we ain't going nowhere. Yeah, and distracted by the Epstein files. True. We ain't going nowhere. I say to you, yes, Black people built America. Black people, you also built all 54 countries of Africa. Black people, you also built Europe for 700 to 800 years. You ruled Europe. Black people, first emperor of Japan, or was it China, was Black. You were ruling Asia. Black people, in Mexico, you migrated also to South America long before slavery. You were in North America before slavery began. You built them all. Black people, to say that you built America and forget the fact that you built all of them is a travesty. So you can't use that excuse. Number two, racism is everywhere. That's another one you're going to hear tonight. Racism is everywhere. I might as well stay here in the United States. Racism. There is no country that you go into right now, for the most part that I've heard of, where they lynching Black folks. Oh, they do that in America, though. They still lynching y'all. I have not heard any countries, even UK, even the brothers in the UK got complaints, but they ain't getting lynched. Y'all still getting lynched in the States. When the last time, even though racism is everywhere, when the last time y'all saw somebody in another country have white folks walk in their church and delete all their grandmamas and grandkids, like they did in the Carolinas, like they did when the white boy went up to Buffalo and went to Target and deleted all the mamas and the grandmamas and the uncles and everybody. Did it happen in what other country? Brazil? Nope, ain't happened in Brazil. Oh, had it happen in Argentina? Nope, ain't happened in Argentina. They the most racist country in the world, it seems. But they ain't going up in no churches deleting people like the United States. I and other men have been driving here in South America, ain't never got pulled over. I have never experienced driving while black, except for in the United States. So you can't use that. Well, racism is not your type of racism. The racism in most countries are systematic. You can see it when you go into a store and there are no black clerks in that mall store. That's systematic. When you see that there are more whites or mestizo Colombians that own properties than blacks do, that's systematic racism. When you still have black maids and dog walkers, that's systematic racism. But these white Colombians ain't walking around every day doing some racial stuff and deleting people. And the people in China are not walking around deleting people. And the people in the Philippines and people that are even in Ireland are not walking around deleting the black Irish like the United States. Do not compare your racism to what everybody else experienced. It's bad enough what all of us experience. But America, you got evil racism locked down. You got it on, like, don't nobody do racism like you do it. So we already talked about the fact that I don't want to leave because we built this country. Number 2 was racism. Number 3 that you're going to hear tonight, we're just going to talk about 3. The top 3 reasons that black people don't leave are ancestors. Our ancestors are buried on every continent because we built every continent. If I hear another black person talk about, I'm not leaving because my ancestors put in the work, what would they say about it? They would turn over in their graves if they knew that we sat back and we just left America. Once again, we don't expect most of y'all to leave anyway. We don't want most of y'all to leave. Do you think we want Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook Nook, Nook Nook's mama, Nook Nook's auntie, Man? You think we want Man out here with us? Hell no, y'all stay right where y'all at. But don't use the ancestors as an excuse. You know, our ancestors built the White House. Our ancestors invented this and invented that. We did that across. If we want to talk about the ancestors, our ancestors were the one that built the libraries in Europe. If it wasn't for our ancestors building Europe, our ancestors were the one that taught white people how to wash their ass, which they still ain't learned how to do. Our ancestors. So to sit back and act like our ancestors only exist in the United States, black people, you're doing our ancestors a disservice. What's my point? You guys are going to hear this throughout the whole night, so expect to hear it. The same excuses. Racism, I might as well stay here. We built this country. We gave it all these inventions. Or our ancestors. Now, for those of you that believe in that, so be it. But just like Iman just said, our ancestors were a migratory creature anyway. That's how we got all over these places before Columbus. Because our people have always been migrators, always creative, always inventive. When Europeans were still stuck in the caves, we were migrating. When they were still up in the cold of Greenland, in the Nordic areas, we were migrating. They could have made it to the States long before we did, but they didn't. We were in the States years before they were. We've always been a migratory people. Always. But black people in the United States trying to act like, well, that wasn't us. Shout out to Michael being in the building. Glad to see you here, brother. Glad to see you here. And Guy Incognito. Racism, we the best. Let's continue on. Let's go to the video. Let's get started.
If you weren't already aware, there are a lot of African Americans who are actively leaving the United States and going to a number of different countries. And this comment says like, wow, you know, for the first time in history, African Americans will be dispersed around the world instead of like concentrated on this land. And I had a crazy thought, and I just need y'all to like walk with me real quick. What if we aren't supposed to be here? Have we thought about that? What if we aren't supposed to be here? What if we are supposed to leave this country on our own terms? We weren't brought here on our own terms. So what if we were supposed to leave on our own terms?
I said that and y'all laughed at me. You know I'm going to bring that beat back. I said that over the last 4 years, that when we were set free as slaves, there was nothing in the rule books that said that we need to stay on the plantation of the United States. Nothing. The United States tried to call themselves giving us Liberia, right? The country of Liberia. United States didn't tell us when they were shipping us over to Liberia, when we thought it was free, there were people already still living there. United States was still doing the same thing they did to steal the United States. Go take somebody else's land that's already there. There were people already living in, tribes already living in Liberia. And now they want to ship us over as free slaves. Fight it out. That's the best that we got. You better fight it out. Yet and still, many went to Canada. Many free went to Europe. Many came to Mexico. What's my point? I've been saying for years, the worst thing that Black Americans did after slavery was stay in the United States. That's the worst thing. Well, what do you mean, I said what I said when I said it. We could have still been inventive no matter where we were. We've always done it. Human history proves that Black people, no matter where we've gone, we've always been able to elevate. Always. Always. As long as there's no interference like America does, we've always elevated. So to sit back and think that if we would have left the United States, then we wouldn't have been, see, that's a lie. That's a lie that we tell ourselves as Black people. You cannot name the era in human history prior to the slave trade where Black people did not advance. And then once we became free, who was the one that created all the inventions in the United States? Dang near. But we didn't get the rights because we couldn't get the rights to the patents because we wouldn't have the right to get them. Who created all that stuff in the United States? Who are the architects of the United States? Who are the inventors, the instructors, the leaders, the true leaders in the United, community leaders in the United States? Just imagine if we had taken the mindset and the drive that we had for Black Wall Street, for Rosewood, and for all the other major metropolises and cities that we created businesses. And we had taken that same mindset and that same drive, starting from zero. Once again, we started from zero post-slavery. So don't act like we had somebody investing in us and all of a sudden we got Black Wall Street and somebody investing in us and all of a sudden we got Rosewood. No, we started Rosewood from zero. We started Black Wall Street from zero. And we could have did it in other countries because we've already proved it throughout our history as Black people. If we land there, somehow, some way, we're going to succeed. Somehow, some way, we're going to succeed. I think one of the worst things that we did was to keep our butt in. Now, some of us should have stayed and could have stayed. I'm with that. But the amount that stayed, we wouldn't have had to worry about think about it. Wouldn't have had to worry about the civil rights movement. Wouldn't been there to care. Wouldn't have to worry about redlining of our communities to where Black people could only buy houses here, but whites and others can buy houses in these other areas. Didn't have to worry about the fact that we couldn't get bank accounts or bank loans for businesses. Didn't have to worry about how many times insurance companies in the United States robbed us blind, even though we have been paying on that policy forever. But as soon as your pawpaw died, grandma couldn't get the money. And so grandma lost the house and had to sell it to the white bank. None of that would have happened if we would have left in masses. Our Rosewoods would still be in existence today in another country. Our Black Wall Streets would be Black Wall Streets, cities, metropolises, uninterrupted. If we'd have just left. There was no rule, no law written that says that we were to stay. We stayed because we didn't know any better. And anybody that told us that we's could be free, we thought they were lying. Just like Harriet Tubman said, I would have freed more slaves if they had known that they were slaves. Let's bring that beat back. Let her ride.
If you weren't already aware, there are a lot of African Americans who are actively leaving the United States and going to a number of different countries. And this comment says like, wow, you know, for the first time in history, African Americans will be dispersed around the world instead of like concentrated on this land. And I had a crazy thought, and I just need y'all to like walk with me real quick. What if we aren't supposed to be here? Have we thought about that? What if we aren't supposed to be here? What if we are supposed to leave this country on our own terms? We weren't brought here on our own terms. So what if we were supposed to leave on our own terms? It's kind of crazy how you fight for the same thing for 400 years and, you know, what do you get from it? And I'm not taking away from our ancestors and all of the strides that they made. What I'm saying is when you do something over and over expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity.
Is she lying? If you do the same thing over and over again since post-slavery, every time we build a community, they tear it down. Every time we do something as a group, they distract us. We wonder, and some of you guys don't even do the homework on this one. We wonder why so many immigrants were able to start businesses in our community. Did you know that by law, you can look this up. Did you know that by law, the Asian community, as well as other immigrant communities, could not get business loans to start a business in their community? They could not get loans to start a business in their community, their own community, for years. But the federal government said this: the loophole is you can get businesses to start in the Black community. You can't come to our community. You can't build them in your community, but you can build businesses to rival the Black community's businesses. That's why you have so many Asians. That's why you have so many Arabs. That's why you have so many other Middle Eastern businesses in our community since we were little kids, because they couldn't get loans by law for their own communities to be built. So they came to our communities, took all of our money, kind of like we start to overlook our own businesses in our own gas stations, in our own restaurants, in our own beauty salons, in our own beauty shops that were already there. We gave our money to the immigrants who were able to go to their communities and build them up. And that's why you go to Detroit, Michigan right now. Detroit is trash, but right next to it is Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, which is one of the most beautiful areas in the state of Michigan. And most of that is Middle Easterners that took that money and built up their own community on the outskirts of Detroit and not in Detroit. They got all that money from a Black city. Well, what about Black people? Black people couldn't get loans at all. Think about it. There was a time we could not legally get any business loans. So they could get loans to come in our community, but we can't get loans for any community. We're starting from zero with all of our businesses at one point in time. The neighborhood that used to be the neighborhood that was there at one point in time, a whole beautiful Black community torn down so you guys could have your Central Park in New York. Just so y'all could have Central Park. The Central Park that's in all the movies was an all Black flourishing community. And you guys got it. It got, not you guys, but it got torn down so New Yorkers could have a damn park. And y'all wonder, and you want to question us on why we left. No matter how many times you try to do something in the United States, they're going to come up with a game plan. No matter how stoic you are and how respectful you are, just like the white dude with Tourette's during the award ceremony a couple of days ago, just want to yell out in the crowd, bitch, nigga. Let's say you do got Tourette, got you. But that means that those terms are in your soul. The Bible says from the heart, the mouth speaks. Even though you dudes got Tourette, you meant what you said about calling those two actors bitch niggas. How many years are we supposed to put up with this? And for the guys that talk about your ancestors, okay, let's talk about ancestors for a second. Let's talk about the ancestors. The only reason I'm here because I don't want to let down my ancestors. Fathers, all you fathers out there, what is the goal of most fathers for their sons? What's the goal for your son to have a better life than you have? No matter how great you are at what you do, your dream is that your next generation does better. So do you think us staying in the States was the dream of our forefathers? For you not to be able to live in a country where you can't afford a car because the average just regular old Toyota Ford Taurus is $50,000 now. Was it the dream of your ancestors for you to live in a country where you can't afford even medical pills or medication? At least you can't afford an ambulance. That was the dream of your ancestors, huh? Redlining was the dream of your ancestors? Jim Crow was the dream of your ancestors. Whenever you apply for a job in the United States, you got to worry if your name sounds like it's Black, because they'll put it at the bottom of the pile or just discard it. Was that the dream of your ancestors, that your job application goes to the bottom of the pile on average? That's the dream of your ancestors. You tell me that your ancestors died so you can live in a country that it cost you $412,000 on average to buy a house, to where our ancestors in the 60s could buy a house and a car. So you telling me that our ancestors who wanted better for us, because we're the kids of the ancestors, you're telling me that what we're going through is better than what our ancestors had, and they can afford a house and they can afford a car, and they were married. If the goal of the ancestors or the forefathers is for the youngins to have a better life, we've fallen short. Don't think because we got gold chains and gold albums and entertainment and that we're doing better because we got technology now. We have fallen from the grace of our forefathers in a mighty, mighty way. Don't sit back and try to tell me about I'm staying here because of my forefathers, our ancestors. We are doing our ancestors a disservice. AMSM says this. He said, "You making the FBA clique mad." I don't care. That FBA stuff, I can't get mad about stuff that didn't even exist before I left. Y'all not gonna get me into that FBA talking about stuff. Like I always say, FBA is nothing but a bunch of men and women that's jealous of the LGBTQ. When did Black people ever in the history of the United States ever consider ourselves an alphabet? Ever. So for 400, 500 years, we ain't never used the alphabet. It is funny. As soon as the LGBTQ get their alphabets and they start getting a little bit of rights with Obama here and then this president there, the LGBTQ, all of a sudden, here come FBA and all the rest of you alphabets. So y'all figure if the LGBTQ alphabets can work, maybe we can start our own little alphabet and we can get some rights. But y'all fail to realize, FBA, the one thing that the LGBTQ has is called unity. We ain't got that among Black people. Y'all got like 4 or 5 groups with different alphabets and ain't none of y'all done nothing. Like I said, we ain't never had no alphabets until we saw the LGBTQ do it. So let's not act funny style like it wasn't existing when I left the United States. Wasn't no such thing as FBA and all the rest of these groups. Now y'all want to look at the LGBTQ, get some rights, and all of a sudden here y'all go want to come up with these letters. Ain't nobody stupid. We watch it, y'all. I see you, brothers and sisters. I love you though. I love you. My brother says this. Shout out to my man Clark in the building. He says this. He said the Daily Wrap-Up crew failed this. Yes, they did. I love them brothers, man, but yes, they did. Failed the assignment. How they let non-FBA Black woman disrespect. I couldn't believe. Man, I would have tossed her off that show so fast. Talking about dirty Black Americans. Here's what we're going to do. Us dirty Black Americans kicking your ass off this show. Bet you won't be on this show. You got to go. She got to go. Give her a glass of water and an Uber ride. She got to get the hell up out of here. Ain't no way in hell she'd have still been sitting there. Huh? What? She just disrespected those young men. FBA men are becoming weak. That's sad, man. Shout out to my boy Guy Incognito. He said, haven't seen many Black Manosphere shows talk about Trump calling the first Black president an ape. And you won't. You won't. You know why? Black Manosphere men learn this. You got to pick and choose your battle. In the book of the Art of War, the book of the Art of War, one of the first 2 things that it teaches is pick and choose your battles, know your terrain. Pick and choose your battles. Now, there are several other steps of the book of Art of War. Pick and choose your battles. You can't go after everything. You won't win everything. You got to pick and choose your battles. I know in America, there's so many things coming against us, brothers and sisters, that we want this, take care of that, but we got to pick and choose our battles. We can't go after everything. Also, know your terrain. Are your enemy up, looking down on you? Is it a stormy moment or is it a sunny moment? Know your terrain. Is it mud? Is it snow? Is it sleet that you're battling on? Is it dry ground? Is it grass? Is it in the meadow? Is it in the woods? Know your terrain. You got to know what type of atmosphere you're in before you go to battle. Great book, The Art of War, but great point. So you won't be seeing brothers talking about that because their brothers consider that there are other things that are more important than battling Trump when it comes to every time somebody white puts us up on a billboard. We don't waste our time talk about how white people don't wash their nasty asses, do we? We all know that most white people don't wash their ass, from your most famous female actress, just your Angelina Jolie's to Brad Pitt's. Nasty mother, we know that. But we ain't got no time to be talking about them all day long. So we let them do the childishness while we focus on the important things. And that also goes for the Black Manosphere. Got to pick and choose your battles. Shout to Bean in the building. Bean says this. He said, hello, keep speaking the truth, facts, good information. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Bean. Yes, sir. Yep, we got to pick and choose. Shout to Charles in the building. Shout out to Charles and my brother 313. Charles says this. He said, I've been out of the United States for 5 years. He said, I'm never moving back. Charles in Mexico. Yes, sir. And 313 in the building.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Don't play with him. Yes, sir. Don't play with him. Let's continue on, gentlemen. Let me shut up for a minute.
Strides.
So it's really interesting how Black people get judged for leaving the US, but nobody questions white Americans or, Europeans who do the exact same thing. So let's talk about that for a second, because people act shocked when Black Americans say, I want a better life, or I want a better quality of life outside of the US. But here's the thing though. People have been leaving America for decades. This isn't new. This isn't some TikTok trend. This isn't a mass exodus out of nowhere, or a great migration out of nowhere. Expats, retirees, digital workers, entire families, they've been quietly leaving because they saw it coming a long time ago, okay? Long time before all of this started happening. Yet somehow when Black people say the same thing, it becomes, why would you leave such a great nation?
Yep, she 100% correct. When I got turned on to relocating, the modern day relocating, watching the military brothers come back and forth. Shout out to all you military men and ladies. But what got me was, I always I always watch news and tech and futuristic stuff, right? And so I came across the digital nomad movement in 2010 and 2011. And I was seeing all these white people moving to Bali, Indonesia, Portugal, Mexico. And so I just started looking at headlines and I was like, digital nomad. But going one ear out the other. But you're keeping up with it because it keeps coming out in different news headlines and magazines. You're reading the Economist magazine and you're like, or you're reading the Wall Street Journal. Then all of a sudden they do a special article on the new movement called the digital nomads. You're like, what? And so you start taking it a little bit more serious. So I'm watching these white people, kind of create lives. And here's the part. Ain't nobody complain. When white people say, I'm out of here, I'm gone, Black people didn't complain. Asian and white people did not complain at all. they were actually holding major digital nomad conferences back in 2013, 14, 15, major auditorium conferences of white people saying, we ain't criticizing each other. We want to know how y'all doing it, how y'all getting these online, because online jobs weren't in back then. That wasn't an in thing in 2011. And so white people started teaching white people how to get jobs and start businesses online. How to do it online. Then came brothers and sisters, and all hell broke loose. As long as Latin people doing it, Middle Eastern people doing it, Asian people are doing it by traveling back and forth, white people do it, ain't nobody said one word. As soon as black men and women started leaving the United States, the number one critics are black people trying to tear us down to keep us from going. That's what she's saying. Ain't nobody open up their mouth about white people. But as soon as black men and black women started migrating and traveling and going to check out other countries and saying America ain't what it's all cracked up to be, everybody got 2 cents to say about it. Where were y'all when white people was doing it? What about when Asian people travel back and forth to their countries and they making money over here, but then they going back home? What y'all ain't say nothing about that? As soon as black men started working with individuals such as Theo, trying to introduce us to IT and introduce us to cloud engineering, everybody want to run off at the mouth. Soon as Aaron and other guys created the Passport Bro website and Facebook page and apps, everybody got something to say. If a black man does it, it's amazing how it's problematic and it's evil and there's a cloud over it. And the number one people that's on social media trying to tear us down are our own people. All they had to do was, all black people ever had to do was open up a history book and you would see that we have always been a migratory people. There has never been an era in human history where black people didn't migrate and rule wherever we migrated. But people in the United States want to criticize us. People in the United States want to criticize us. Shout out to King Pure Energy in the building. He says this. He said, I'm Haitian. He said, I will tell you, my people are disrespected. Aren't they? Aren't they? He said, I called them out because I know our fearless leaders would be rolling in it. Our fearless leader would be rolling in his grave. Absolutely correct, brother. Absolutely correct. But can't nobody check my people. That's the sad part. Can't nobody check our people. Just like I made the statement about the LGBTQ, I know that hurt a few of y'all feelings. No, it didn't. No. FBA. Well, FBA was before LGBTQ. FBA was before LGBTQ. And all y'all other black alphabets was there when I left the United States. You tell me y'all had all, when I left in 2016, I started traveling in 2015. When I left almost 10 years ago, you trying to tell me y'all had LGBTQ in 2016? I mean, y'all were FBA in 2016, and all this, and the new black flag, you know, the new black flag that they got, and I like that flag color. It's all black with like the little red stripe to the side. I like that flag. You telling me y'all was waving that flag on a regular, not few people. I'm talking about all y'all on a regular. Hell no. Y'all sat back and watched the LGBTQ get them rights during the Obama administration, and y'all was like, let us create some letters too. We ain't never had no letters. All of a sudden, y'all want to see somebody else. Just like I give you another thing that we do that come from the LGBTQ community. You ready? Partner. Black men and black women in the history of the United States have never used the word partner when it comes to talking about relationships to each other. She's my partner. No, that came from the LGBTQ community, because that's what they used to call each other before they could legally marry. So they would say, well, I have a partner, or this is my partner. Then here we go. Black women start using it. And now black men over like the last 3-4 years, here y'all go with my partner. Like, I'm looking at y'all like, Negro, you what? So now I gotta ask you, are you LGBTQ or are you married? And I'm not coming at you. I'm asking because it used to, when you heard that term, it only reflect the LGBTQ community. But now black women took it and started calling you guys partners. And all of a sudden here y'all black asses talking about something. Well, my woman's my partner. What the hell? Can the LGBTQ have something that belong to them? Because we using their stuff. We all of a sudden making letters, and all of a sudden we're using the term partner. What else we gonna take from the LGBTQ? We gonna start wearing makeup, men? I'm so serious. Let's not pretend like we ain't seeing what we're seeing. That's why I love not living in the States anymore. That's another reason. I ain't got to lie to black people no more about what black people want me to lie to them about. I and you no longer have to lie to black people about things that black people want you to lie to them about. I can tell the truth. If you stay here, cool. If you leave, cool. I'm gonna still tell you the truth because I love you. I'm gonna tell you the truth because I love you. You ain't got to worry about Dre lying to you because I get no benefit from lying to you. And everybody knows it, and we don't say anything. We all know that the term partner came from the LGBTQ community, but we play hush hush and pretend like we invented it. No, we didn't, black people. That's from the gay community. We try to pretend that alphabet letters came from us, the FBA. That didn't come from us. That came from the gay community. But we all knew it, but nobody said anything on camera. I'm letting you know. I'm tired of lying to black people about stuff that you want me to lie to you about. I'm tired of it. There are enough content creators that will tell you barefaced lies that you can enjoy. You can enjoy their lies all the live long day. I am not going to be another one of them, me or Andrea. And I mean that. We got enough people out here lying to us, man. Last thing we need is another person out here telling us some more lies. Shout out to the subscribers and the unsubscribers. He said, he knows the Bible doesn't even say partners. Facts. Facts. He said, I'm trying over too, Dre. I know you sit back and you hear it. And you kind of like, I say it's none of my business. If the dude want to call his wife partner, cool, it ain't my wife, so I ain't. So we don't say nothing. But since we're talking as a group, dude, we all know where it comes from. We all know. We all know that come on, the black community among men. Let's talk men. We know that sagging pants come from the prisons and it meant when your pants were sagging in prison that your booty was available to another man. Everybody knew that. Everybody knows that to this day. Any of you dudes that ever let your pants sag or you walk with sagging, everybody knows that came from prisons where black men were in prisons. And if you let your pants sag like that, that was equivalent to having a thong on, and you were showing another man that your booty is available. Everybody knew that. So when it came to the streets, dudes that were in prison was like, why y'all dressing like that? Oh man, it's the style. No, bruh. That's in prison. Do you know that's in prison? Dudes was getting out of prison from giving up their booty, came out still sagging their regular pants. Then their sons, gay dudes in prison do have kids. I don't know why y'all think that gay dudes that be in prison, they go to prison and become gay a lot. But on the streets, they got kids. They got it. That's the part that blows dudes away. Like, what? He gay? He got kicked? Yeah. He giving up his booty though? Yeah. And his son saw his daddy sagging. So 2 or 3 generations later, they still walking around sagging. And now the kids don't even know where it originally came from. But those of us of our generation, we already know where it came from. But it'll be those of you that will sit up there and expect me to lie to you because you want to hear me lie to you about sagging. Sagging is one of the number one signs of that you are an available homosexual. Shout out to the homosexual brothers, but homosexual in prison. Everybody knows that. I don't know why y'all try to pretend stuff it ain't what it ain't. It is. And so is that FBA thing. The FBA is nothing but it's not saying that you are LGBTQ. I'm saying that you saw the results, the benefits of using letters because they got so many laws and so many breaks and so many opportunities that came their way once the gay community came together and created letters, meaning that they were unified. They were getting laws passed. You saw it under the Obama administration. You complained about it under the Obama administration because you was like, how can this black president look out for gay people when he said he a Christian, but he ain't looking out for the black people? I saw y'all cuss and fuss throughout the whole 8 years of the Obama administration for all the things that he was doing for the LGBTQ. So here y'all asses come. We gonna create some letters too. And now y'all got 4 or 5 letter groups out there, but ain't none of y'all unified. That's what's hurting the FBA. That's what's hurting the FBA. None of us are unified. Once brothers get unified, watch what happens to the world. Let's continue on with the video. I'm going to shut up for a while, man. Let the videos roll. But this sister is right. When black men and black women start traveling, everybody got something to say.
And let me be clear, Black people are not obligated to stay and keep fighting systems that refuse to change. It will never change. It hasn't changed for years, hundreds of years. It's not going to change now. That is not a moral duty. That is not betrayal. That is self-preservation. And honestly, you guys, most of the people judging have never actually lived outside of the US or spent an extended time outside of the US. And I'm not talking about, you know, your 2-week all-inclusive Cancun vacation. That does not count. You can come in. I'm talking about paying rent abroad, using healthcare abroad, buying groceries abroad. That's my 2-year-old toddler and his dad. I'm talking about living in another culture, understanding another economy, because once you do that, you start asking different questions like, why is healthcare cheaper? Or why does healthcare cost less, but it still has a great quality? Why is my money going further? You know, and yeah, we can talk about currency arbitrage and, you know, currency conversion, all those things, but it also works. It also makes sense equally for the locals as well, is what I want to say, right?
True.
You're probably going to ask yourself, why does my nervous system feel calmer, right? Do yourself a favor and travel. Take a sabbatical somewhere else, okay? And then come back and tell me whether people leaving the US are crazy or if they just saw another option and choose peace. Wanting a better life does not make you ungrateful. It makes you aware.
I'm going to say it, going to cover it. There seems to be such a disdain for men leaving the United States to go travel other places. Men have been doing it for years. But now that the collective of men or black men have decided to do that, there seems to be a problem. There seems to be a problem with that. There seems to be a problem if men now wants to leave and go other places. Why would he do that? Those women, you must be going over there for sex. Let's be for real about it. You're going over there because the women are broke over there. You're going over there for little girls. You going there because the economy's bad over there and you got all this money and you're going to just go over there living like a king.
I saw another creator do this and I wanted to ask ChatGPT to see what response I would get. What would happen if Black Americans left the USA? So here is what would happen if Black Americans left the USA, y'all. Number one, economic impact. Black Americans contribute $1.6 trillion annually to the United States budget. Number two, social and cultural impact. Black Americans have shaped music like blues and hip hop, fashion, sports, art worldwide, and the USA would lose this if we left. Number three, political impact. Black voters are a key Democratic voting bloc. Their absence will drastically change elections. So what do y'all think?
I was asked yesterday on my live, when is it too late to leave the US? I made posts previously comparing the US to Russia, giving an example of what too late looks like. Rising power of authoritarian, a diminishing middle class that results in haves and have-nots. The have-nots then unable to save the amount of money necessary to leave, coupled with a country that many other nations no longer want to work with. Visa requirements to those nations become much more difficult. But now let's talk timeline. The guy who rhymes with Demir Dutton was first elected in 2000. Took him about a decade to start rewriting the Constitution to make himself in power forever. So if we use that logic, I'd say end of this term and beginning of third term for the Orange Goblin. So you have roughly 3 years to get your stuff together. All that to say there is no official drop dead date, and it definitely depends on the reasons you're leaving. So yes, work with urgency. Plan it out.
There's a clip going around of Donald Trump talking about how great American innovation is. And everything that he named that America invented, it was a black person that invented it.
This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything. What is left? We invented everything.
Bro.
Just imagine, and shout out to my brother Jason, or brother Jay, on the Cash App, $10 love. Appreciate you, brother. Just imagine if we had used that ingenuity in our own countries, in our own opportunities to build up, whether we were in another country. The Bible says this: God's gifts and callings are without repentance. God's gifts and callings are without repentance. Translation: God gave the gifts to do all those things to in the black community, all those inventors that we have and creators and authors and artists that we have in our community. Repentance means take it back. He's not going to take it back. No matter where those black people were, they were going to invent what they invented. We don't invent stuff because we just so happen to be in America. If it took America to do that, then how come blacks ruled Europe for over 700 to 800 years? Ruled Europe. Let me say this again. Ruled Europe for 800 years. Didn't need to be in an America to create and invent. We as black people don't need somebody else's geographical location to use the gifts and callings that God put in us as black people. So if you think that the light bulb was not going to be invented by a black man if he just so happened to be back in Jamaica, you're lying to yourself. God's gifts and callings are without repentance. If you think the woman, the sister that created the home burglar system was not going to be able to do that unless she was in America, you got God twisted. The gifts that he put inside of black people, we've been using them for centuries. The only reason that we're not admonished as much as we should be because the patents for much of what we created was either stolen or we created it while we were slaves. And since we were considered property, whatever invention we created, our slave master got the credit and got the money and got the patent for it. But the gift to create it was always in us. So for all you black people that think that you can't be creative unless you in the States, or we can't be inventive, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. No, it's us who have these gifts and callings, not the country. The country benefits off God giving us these gifts and callings. Don't you ever forget that. Don't you ever forget the United States benefits off of black people's gifts and callings. We created jazz. We created salsa. We created bachata, merengue. We created R&B. We created rock and roll. The gifts and callings are in us. So don't sit back and think that if we leave America, we just won't be as creative as we. Who told you that? We were creating stuff before there was an America. Man, y'all better do y'all homework on black people and stop acting like America needs black people. Black people don't need America. Y'all better get that one in your head. America needs us. We appreciate America, but we don't need her like y'all think. God's gifts and callings are without repentance. He put them in us, and without repentance means he ain't gonna take them back. He ain't gonna take them back. Black people gonna always be gifted. We've been gifted since the dawn of time in this world, and we're gonna continue to be gifted. When there's no longer a country they call America, guess who gonna still be gifted? Guess who gonna get called to do amazing things on this planet long after there's no longer a country that's in charge known as America someday? Black people. Black people, you still gonna be doing amazing things. Before there was an America, while there's an America, and long after there's an America, where there's no longer a China, a Japan, or Russia, and everything else got a new name. Guess who's gonna still have gifts and callings? Black people. So don't get caught up on the geographical location as much on the fact that God has always used us to do amazing things. Always. Yep, and we created country music. Absolutely correct. I was trying to think about which one I've forgotten. We've always done amazing things. Let me try to miss anybody on the super chats. Oh, my brother said this. AMSM said, do not forget about our Hebrew Israelite brothers. I do not forget about those brothers. I like what they're doing. I haven't studied all of what they do, so I don't give 2 cents on what the brothers are doing. But as far as the stoicism and as far as the bringing young men together and having men study their, not only in the spiritual sense, but on the business sense and being focused, I like what those guys are doing now. When they came to Cartagena, you know, they were yelling and they were chanting. Colombia is not the country where you want to get loud, brother. Colombian people are not loud like people in the United States. So they kind of look kind of awkward when they was here in Colombia. But I was glad that the brothers came and brought young brothers to Colombia to learn about black people in Colombia. I was very proud of Hebrew Israelites when they came to Cartagena a couple weeks ago. And they showed brothers in North America about, and taught brothers about brothers in South America. They didn't go to the parties. They didn't go to the clubs. They came here to show brothers and sisters Palenque, the first black town that black people during slavery established. So shout out to the Hebrew Israelite brothers. I kid you not, man. I don't know much about 100% about the brothers' teachings, but the little bit that I've seen them do, they remind me of, I kid you not, they remind me of old school Nation of Islam. That fire that the nation used to have in the 60s, the 50s, back then. Shout out to the Hebrew Israelite brothers. He said, I'm Gen Z. He said, and us young guys, ain't trying to save this failed community. That I have noticed. That I have noticed about Gen Z. Gen Z is not going to be like us. We can save it. Press down on the chest of America. Give it some oxygen. Gen Z like, yeah. Gen Z like, can I get my controller? Gen Z up there like this. Could y'all move out the way? Gen Z is not about the stress like us Generation X and millennials are, and the baby boomers. I ain't mad at you, Gen Z. He said this is why you're seeing FBA women and men crashing out because we moving. Absolutely correct. That's one thing I can say about Gen Z dudes. They are not letting this move them. He says up to the young people working up. Yep, absolutely correct. It's good to see the young guys working up. Yes, sir. Let's continue. Let me shut my mouth for a while.
Oh, black people did all that. We innovate and create everything. And so it's just par for the course of what happens with black innovation. I'm big on protecting your IP, but a lot of times you're creating and you want to be creative. But I think this is just another version of what happens when black people make something. When it comes to rock and roll music, we've invented the ice cream scoop, ice cream, the alarm.
We did invent ice cream. Yeah, I found that out like a couple of
years ago. The alarm system, macaroni and cheese, plasma, yeah. The hot comb. There's a list of so many inventions and creations by black people.
What is left? We invented everything.
Boy, if you don't. Why do black people keep demanding equality in a country that spent centuries trying to erase us? Why not just leave? Why keep fighting? The truth is, we've been asking ourselves the same thing. We didn't just show up here. We were forced here, stolen, sold, beaten. And then we built this country from the ground up. And after all that, they still tell us we don't belong. They gave us slavery and called it an economy. They gave us Jim Crow and called it the law. They gave us segregation, redlining, and mass incarceration. Anything to keep us out, to keep us from claiming what we were owed. And yet we still fought, we still built, and we still dreamed. Because deep down, we believed in our right to exist freely. But let's be real, how much more do we have to give? How many times do we have to prove that we deserve the same rights, the same dignity, the same humanity? Some of us are tired. Some of us are looking elsewhere, to places where we don't have to fight just to be seen as human. And if that's the path that someone chooses, that's their right. But others, we're not leaving. Not because we love this country, but because we refuse to let it push us out. We built this. We bled for this. And we have every right to demand more from it. Whether we stay and fight or leave and find peace elsewhere. One thing is clear. We're not running. We're not begging. We're deciding. And for the first time in history, that decision belongs to us.
All right, so many people are asleep to what's actually going on in the United States, not what the news is telling you. Again, if you're watching CNN, Fox News, you're going to be misled and you're going to fall for the propaganda. I'm not going to lie to you, but there's a lot of good independent journalists and news anchors on TikTok. Anyway, many people are asleep to what's actually going on in the United States, and they think that these things will get better. And in this process, I always tell people, make a plan to leave the United States. Okay, make a plan. And number one, why don't you have passports? Right now, I'm currently in a group with almost 30 people, and it's still growing on Discord, of people that are getting together. They realize what's really going on, and some of them have already left. I have a couple people right now in Europe, South America, and there's some that are currently leaving as in like today, tomorrow, the day after kind of thing. And then there's people that's planning on leaving like within the next month to 6 months. Okay. These things will not get back to normal. And you have the folks that talking about, oh, well, it's expensive to leave the United States. It's not that expensive depending on where you go, because guys, you got to remember, you don't have to go somewhere permanently. You could just go there for a few months, while you come up with a plan. Okay. Like some of the places in South America, it doesn't take that much to move there, to live there. Okay. That's number one. Then you have the other people saying, oh, you're just fear mongering. Okay. If I'm fear mongering, then this video is for entertainment purposes only. You can keep scrolling. Okay. If you think I'm fear mongering, just keep scrolling. This isn't for you. I don't want you to get scared since I'm fear mongering. Okay. Again, the United States is not going to go back to what it used to be. There's going to be a lot of war here, especially I think this year we might be in some kind of war, and next year. And, you know, I do believe also California will get swept away. When it does, it's going to be very hard to get passports. The DMV will be closed and things like that. And there's going to be a major tragedy that happens to, how should I say this without saying it? All I know is the orange will eventually get peeled. Okay, that's all I can say. Unfortunately for him, you know, regardless of how anybody feels about the orange man, you feel me? It is what it is, unfortunately. But again, once that happens, the country will be in full lockdown and you won't be able to leave. Nobody will be able to come in. So that's what I'm saying right now. Make a plan to dip.
When I hear black,
before he goes any further, he's absolutely correct. It doesn't mean that you have to leave. It means that just in case, make sure that you and your loved ones have a passport. Shout out to my brother once again. He says this. He says, to touch on my last super chat or super, he said, I told Crimson Cure on her channel. Shout out to Crimson Cure. And respect, he said, if us young guys fix this mess, it better, boy, that's, wow. He said, if us young guys fix this mess, this younger generation, it better stay fixed. That's a good point to reflect on. Do we believe that America, when it comes to for black people, can be fixed? And then this brother brought up something I never thought about. Will it stay fixed? Every time we try to come up with something that gives us closer to having some type of peace, it didn't stay fixed. We had our Rosewood. They could have just left us alone. They didn't let it stay fixed. We had our Black Wall Street. They could have just left us. They had all these states. They didn't even let us have a city. We established Chicago. They took that away from us. Most people don't even know Chicago is a black established city. Every time we do something, it get fixed, but it don't stay fixed. That is one of the most profound statements that I have heard in years. If we fix it, it better stay fixed. So there are two questions that are going to be running through my mind for the rest of my life. I appreciate that, brother. Can it get fixed? And will it stay fixed? Because based on U.S. history, whatever we've done to fix something for ourselves, it's never stayed fixed. If y'all remember what happened to the Jedi Order, right? Order 66. That is so true. Shout out to my brother Abijah in the building with the $5 love on the Cash App. That is a great point, man. Great point. Shout out to you guys. He said exactly. Exactly. Absolutely correct. Let's continue on with the video.
People talking about how they want to move to these other countries, I fail to believe you recognize how many elections have been bought and paid for by way of U.S. interference. And going back to our example, the U.S. is not just this restaurant. The U.S. is a franchise, and we don't just deserve poor service in different fonts. We deserve.
Now, these are brothers, just in case you guys are wondering, now we're coming to the videos of the brothers and sisters that are trying to convince you why they don't leave. This young brother is saying the reason why he don't leave is because politics is politics no matter where you go in the world. I'm going to tell you something. For most of us, we haven't been impacted by the political landscape of the countries that we've gone to. If you talk to Ronin Travelers on a day-to-day basis, he's not impacted by the politics in the Philippines. You talk to Richie Mack, Zoom to Thailand. on a day-to-day basis, he's not impacted on the politics of Thailand like you guys are being impacted on the politics of the states. Here in Colombia, our President Petro, he whatever he does as being the first Democratic president, and he's out of office in May because he can't run again, his politics doesn't impact me. People that's brothers and sisters living in Mexico, they are not stressing about what the female president is doing in Mexico. You people back in the States, yeah, I say it, you people back in the States have a bad habit of assumption. You don't travel, you don't study, you don't read, you don't research. You always assume. I used to do that too before I started traveling. So I was guilty of it too. You assume. You assume what you experience is what everybody else experienced, or even worse. Because nobody, notice, you ever hear Americans ever talk about that their experience is the worst experience? We talk about racism in the United States, don't we? You ever notice Black Americans never talk about our racism as being the worst racism? You know why? Because Americans never want to see themselves in a situation or position of that something represents us as the worst. You ever hear us talk about, we'll talk about our health care, but we never talk about all the other countries that have way better health care than ours? You know why? Because Americans cannot stand to sit back and say some other countries have far better and far more inexpensive health care than we do. We never want to admit that. We will assume the worst about every other place. So you're going to hear that in the next videos, in these next clips. Black people complaining about other countries they've never been to, they've never researched, they could barely spell the name. Some of you guys will go in the comments, some Americans will go in the comments and talk about y'all moved to Colombia and they'll use a U. Colombia ain't never had a U, it's two O's. You want to complain about Colombia and you can't even spell the country? You can't even spell. Shout out to Theo in the building. He said no one cares about politics in Japan. Nobody's sitting around saying, oh my God, the politicians here. He said plenty of women wanted an American to invade them. That's for sure. Shout out to Theo. He said the U.S. is still near the top with big girls, big girls, the big chicks. Yes, sir. Listening in. Shout out to YouTube and There's a Habit. Glad that you're listening in, brother. And my brother Zeta in the building. He say facts. They can't even spell these countries' name right, but then they want to talk about the countries. You're right. They talk about Colombia, South Carolina. Right. You be like, dude, are you serious? You can't even spell the name, but then y'all criticizing the politics, whatever it is, without doing any homework. And that's the part that we gotta sit back and start doing as Black people. We can't just assume the experience that you're going through, Black people in the United States, is the experience of everybody else around the world. We're out here and we're telling you it's not true. But the news said, God dang it, it's not true. You know what Black Americans remind me of? Me and Andrea was walking. I told this story before. This is what Black Americans remind me of when it comes to talking about other countries. Me and Andrea were walking through a home center a couple years ago. We're there all the time. Now, Home Center is nothing but Home Depot, just a different name. It looks like Home Depot. It's set up like Home Depot and Lowe's. It's just a different name in a different country. Instead of being Home Depot, it's just called Home Center, okay? They sell wood and everything else just like Home Depot. We're walking through and we're about to get in line. And I'm seeing all the exact same products and all the exact same setup that we have in the United States. And I tell Andrea, I say, you do know Americans still think y'all live in jungles. She turned around, she said, what? I say, you do know most of America thinks that Colombians live in the jungle. Small towns scattered throughout the jungle. She said, you lying. I say, They don't think y'all got modern buildings and modern malls and you know, the women are educated. They think that y'all all pay for play. Y'all don't have no master's degrees, doctorates. Andrea, you know, studying her third language now. They don't think women in other countries are smart. American women think that every woman, y'all just going down there because the women ain't got no money. They think every woman is just dirt poor. And Andrea looked at me like, whatever. And I'm like, I'm serious. I'm serious. Black Americans don't know anything about other countries for real. You ask most Black Americans, how many countries on the continent of Africa? I don't know. You ask most Americans, how many states are in the United States? Do you know that there are Americans that don't know that there are 50 states? Man, you just reaching now. They have done surveys and ask us your street, walk up to people on the streets interviewing, how many states are in the United States? Theo says this. He says this is a still cannibalism, and there was still cannibalism in Colombia, right? Bow and arrows, huts, right? That's what they think, Theo. That's what they think. They think everybody in Japan is a samurai warrior. They think everybody in Japan is a samurai warrior and live in paper houses. We don't know nothing about the world, man. They don't tell us nothing. Shout out to Kings and Dreams in the building, as well as my brother G Turner. That's serious. Let's get back to the videos. But we're going through the part of the videos where we're just going to hear Black Americans talk about the reason why they're not leaving and think that we're crazy for leaving.
To have what we bought and what we paid for. You get what I'm saying? And we can't have that until we deal with the motherfucking problem at hand. And there's no better place to do that than right here. Now going back to them goddamn groypers. The enemy of my enemy is my, well, not exactly, but it's still relevant. Listen here, all the people that these evil motherfuckers then made mad, our lack of having an organized central effort to fight against that shit can feel disheartening at times, but it's actually a good thing. And the reason for that is twofold. For one, it makes us less dependent on leaders for information. And two, it makes our leaders and whole movements less easily targeted because there's so many of them. And lastly, to address the most glaring motherfucking hole in my argument, say we was to get what we asked for. We all get there. And then all these divergent factions who the only thing holding them together was the fact that they hated these niggas. Now what do? Hate to tell y'all, that's exactly what the hell we got right now. It's just no middleman or no motherfucker profiting off of all that hate. You get what I'm saying? So I'd rather have that, to be honest.
This is not life. This is not how life was supposed to be lived. We work our entire lives to have nothing. They control everything we do, say, see. They control everywhere we go. People are trying to leave the country and they're invalidating people's passports, saying that they're reported lost or stolen. You have to do that yourself with your social security number. Do you understand the severity of what's going on right now? America is not safe anymore. They tried to warn us. They tried to warn us and told us to leave for so long. And I myself did not listen. I knew it. I just hope it's not too late.
I was asked yesterday on my live, when is it too late to leave the US? I made posts previously comparing the US to Russia, giving an example of what too late looks like. Rising power of authoritarian, a diminishing middle class that results in haves and have-nots. The have-nots then unable to save the amount of money necessary to leave, coupled with a country that many other nations no longer want to work with. Visa requirements to those nations become much more difficult. But now let's talk timeline. The guy who rhymes with Demir Dutton was first elected in 2000. Took him about a decade to start rewriting the Constitution to make himself in power forever. So if we use that logic, I'd say end of this term and beginning of third term for the Orange Goblin. So you have roughly 3 years to get your stuff together. All that to say there is no official drop dead date, and it definitely depends on the reasons you're leaving. So yes, work with urgency. Plan it out responsibly. There's a free guide in my bio. Use that. I gave a rough timeline of a year for planning. And I'll still be here to help along the way, even from outside the country. So don't get discouraged, and I hope it helps.
I've finally made the decision that I will no longer live in America long term anymore. It's crazy what traveling can do for you. Because my goal in 2020, 2021 was to purchase a $400,000 to $500,000 house in Texas, in either Houston or Dallas. That was my goal for around this time. A new house, $100,000 car, and I would just start my own business local. I was talking to realtors in Texas. The plan was never to move overseas. I never had any plans overseas. But I told myself, I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm gonna go back to China and simply network my ass off. Within a matter of 2 years, I've met so many people, he said, with business, with opportunities. If I would have never went back to China, I would have been in Texas right now, probably. I probably would have been somewhere in a 4-bedroom house, Texas, with my nice car, working every day. The longer I stayed in Asia, I realized that America was overrated. All the plans that I thought made sense completely vanished. Completely.
Oh, like, look, I seen a meme. It said, damn, our ancestors, it showed the Boston Tea Party.
Oh, yeah.
When they went to war over a 2% tax, and then they showing us with a 40% tax, and everybody just on their smartphones.
Check that out. Revolutionary War over 2% tax. Now you're being taxed 40%, and you on your cell phones. You ain't doing nothing. And you wonder why. Oh, we're gonna look at China tonight. Believe you me, I got some. His brothers and sisters that's over there doing it big in China. Theo says this. You say, Andre, Colombia is in Africa, right? Be careful about Russia. I heard Africa is now right under Russia, so it might snow too much. And people actually think like this in the United States, Theo. They really do. These people went to war over 2% tax. We got 40%, and we just stuck on our cell phones.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Not giving a fuck, like getting raped at the grocery store, getting raped at the gas pump, getting raped through taxes, and nobody is batting an eye. Nobody gives a fuck because you could just do this, type up a mad ass post and all emotional, and boom, hit enter, done, and you felt like you done something.
And then not only that, but to add on that and piggyback on that, then you have people that are going to make you feel like you did something because you're going to get 100,000 retweets. You get what I'm saying? Or 100,000 likes, or however many likes you get. And you're like, damn, all these people agree with me. That's going to make you feel like, yeah, maybe you did do something, when in reality you didn't do shit.
So I'm scrolling and I saw this guy, this Black American guy, talking about leaving the country, fleeing the country. We don't flee. And I was on Leo's Spell, shouts out to Leo, his live last night, and I heard another woman, a Black American woman, saying, oh, maybe we should all collectively leave. Why the fuck would we leave a country that our ancestors, literally the soil that they're buried on? Why would we leave a country that they did so much hard work and toil to build? Why would we leave a country where mostly everything around you, they invented? Why would we leave a country that literally has our blood, sweat, and tears in it? Why would we leave a country that everybody is trying to flee to? The math don't math. They always stood up. They stood 10 toes and they fought the good fight. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. We have more resources, believe it or not. We are smarter. We have access to more information. We have channels in which we could communicate to each other on opposite ends of the country. Why would we leave? This is our home. Everybody keep trying to make it seem like Black Americans are immigrants. We're not immigrants.
I don't believe I'm an African American because I'm not from Africa.
I've never been there.
I've never been there.
And if you are Black and you think you from Africa and you have this mindset of forget America, go back there. Go to Africa. Go live in Africa. Nobody's keeping you here. Y'all, we have all of these negative things that we say about this country, but y'all ain't trying to go nowhere else. Y'all just gonna keep talking trash about the place that you live, the place that you're from, the only place that you know.
I say this loudly on camera. Wherever you're from, whoever sent you, if you do not like it here, go home. Go home. Go home.
Let me clear this up real quick because most of y'all keep on saying ICE is gonna detain you and your family too. So let me say this very clear. Black Americans are not immigrants. We were not brought here through slavery centuries ago. Most of us were enslaved and made prisoners of war on our own land. We were born here. Our parents were born here. Our grandparents were born here. Our great-grandparents were born here. So therefore, ICE cannot deport U.S. citizens.
There's racism everywhere, so I should just really accept the fact that Black and brown people are being targeted. I should just stay in America. I just should not look for a better life for me and my future kids. I should just accept the fact that, you know, sometimes Black people do pop up in trees. I should just accept the fact that if I have a little Black boy, that he may not make it home.
Good point, Tori, and good point to the sister. Shout out to both of y'all. Why should we leave? Because I'm free. I'm free to leave. I choose to. A lot of people don't understand that. They want to talk about freedom, but when you use your freedom, people get mad. They want to talk about we's free, but when you use the freedom, your own, this is the part that gets me, your own people get mad. Nobody is more pissed at Black people leaving than Black people. And they will tell you, we not mad. Go, you can leave. You can go home, dog. Nobody give a damn. You can leave. Go. My president is orange, and so is my Lamborghini. You can leave, dog. But yet they'll put 200-300 videos per day on social media about us leaving. Your family, if they didn't care about you using your freedom to leave, they wouldn't criticize you. Your coworkers wouldn't criticize you. The people in your church, your mosque, your synagogue, your temple wouldn't criticize you. When you say, you know, I'll be leaving soon. I'm going to another country. What's out there? Shout out to my brother, MJB. He says this. He said, I'm done convincing people of things outside of the outside of the country. Kick rocks and piss off. Absolutely correct. That's how I feel. He say, and I'm almost sure that it isn't relatives and families that don't like me, that there are relatives and families that don't like me for those same reasons, but so be it. I was talking to my cousin Michael the other day, and you know, Mike is a good breadwinner type of dude. You know, he from Detroit, been working for the big three auto industries. Mike got to be had 30-35 years in, and everybody leans on him and depends on him to where he's suffocating now. And that's my dude. And all I could do is just sit back and just tell him, man, it's gonna be all right. He's not suffocating because he ain't got money. The brother got money. He's suffocating due to the fact that everybody else is trying to drain his life energy. And by the time Jesus said this, he was given a parable. He said there was once a time there was a dude that he was a farmer, and he finally got his grains of hay. I mean, his bales of hay. He had barns, several barns of hay, and they were filled. He said, and the old dude said, Finally, I can retire. All my barns are filled with grain. And then Jesus said, then death came to him and said, your soul is required of you. Then death came to him and said, your soul is required of you. Sometimes we spend so much time trying to stack up the money, not realizing the greatest human resource is not our money, it's our time. The greatest human resource that you'll ever have is not the things that you acquire, including your money. Now, we do need money. We do need retirement funds and things like that. I'm not coming against that. But what I'm saying is when we lean too much into it and don't realize the greatest thing that you have is your health and your time, because for all of us, death will come and say, your soul is required of you. And I wouldn't want to have that happen to family members of mine that I know that are, really focused on leaving the United States. But they got so much going on, so many people that depend on them that they couldn't leave when they want to, even after they retire. I'm going to say this to some of you guys, and some of you guys already know this, and some of you guys are going to experience this. You can make some of the people happy some of the time, like Abraham Lincoln said. But your tail are not going to make all the black people happy all the time. My cousin said he's got into arguments with his sons and his mother every time he talks about his desire to move to the Philippines. Now, he has a son. This move is going to be about 10 years away. He's taking care of his youngest son. So his youngest son ain't tripping. But everybody else that drains him, they won't have it. They've already put in their mind as if he's leaving tomorrow. And they won't have anybody around to drain anymore. The reason why I tell his story, because some of you guys might be going through the same thing. If you think that your mama and your cousin Nook and Ray and them and your co-worker is gonna be like, oh man, that's cool. I see you just got back from Thailand again. Oh man, that's your third time going to Germany this year, man. You must got your girlfriend out there in Germany. Bruh, do not expect people to understand. Your vision is your vision. You're gonna have to come to peace. Your mama, who loves you so much, gonna give you all the horror stories she can think of. So will your daddy, so will your brothers, so will your everybody gonna have horror stories to tell you about countries they have never ever been to in their lives. I will say that again. I will say this again. You will have people that love you, that will give you the most horrific horror stories they can imagine about countries they can't even spell, they can't recognize the flag, they've never eaten food from that country, even in the United States, but yet they have so much to tell you about what you are about to do. Expect it. One of the ladies that's going to be speaking this evening, she says, you're going to have to get comfortable with the fact that you're going to have to leave somebody on the plantation. Remember that scene in the movie Roots when they sold Kizzy to the other slaves? You know, her father was John Amos, you know, and her mother was crying, and John Amos, and they sold Kizzy, and she was on the back of the wagon. Remember? The sister she was crying, she was just reaching. Yo, mama, she crying, she just reaching. That's gonna be some of you dudes. See, some of us know how to escape the plantation. Some of y'all, God gonna have to drag off the plantation. Some of us know how to escape the plantation. Some of y'all, God gonna drag off the plantation to get his vision to come to pass for your life. Because if it's up to you, you ain't gonna leave when you're supposed to leave. Some of y'all still in the United States. It's 2026. God been told you to leave in 2023, or at least start preparing yourself for your trip in 2023. It's 2026. What you still doing in the States? You got a girlfriend for what? You got a new baby. How you get a new baby? You supposed to have been gone in 2023. How you got a new baby and you should have been gone in 2023? How? Because you the type of dude God got to put on the wagon like Kizzy and drag you away from the plantation with you kicking and screaming. Some of y'all gonna leave the United States kicking and screaming. And of course, not literally, but he'll put you in situations that are so uncomfortable in the States that you're gonna finally get the hell up out of there. When you should have been like the rest of us. Escaped. Shout out to my brother Kings of Dreams, 5-month member. He said, our people shame us for the wells that we have abroad. Absolutely correct. That's a good way of putting it, for the wells we have abroad, because we are not satisfied with the tablespoons we're getting here. That is so true. I was watching, it's kind of funny you would say wells. I was watching this one YouTube brother. He had just bought him some land. He just said, I only got $3,000. He said, man, I'm just go. He went to Colombia and bought him a piece of land for $3,000. He said, I already got my house already set up there. He showed his house. It's in a small town here in Colombia. Showed his house. He said, in all, I paid for land, and he said, I got my wall put up, my security wall. He said, and I have my home for less than $8,000. He said, now I can build on top of this, whether it be here or buy me some more land around me. And he had a well. He had a well at his house. And he was like, so if I don't want to just use the regular plumbing, I also have a well out here. Now, a lot of us ain't got one. A lot of us might not want to move to a remote location. You might want to move to a bigger city with a great view. We're going to see that tonight. But I'm telling you, some of y'all going to be just like Kizzy in the miniseries Roots. You're going to be strapped to the back of the wagon because they're going to sell you from that plantation. And God gonna have you kicking and screaming, leaving the plantation. And remember the part where Kizzy's mama was reaching out to, and John Amos was, don't sell her. Kunta Kinte was saying, don't sell her. You're gonna have family back in the States that's gonna just be lost without you. And it ain't your job to come back to rescue them. That's why some of y'all gonna have to leave kicking and screaming, because you too scared to leave the United States thinking that everybody's life gonna fall apart without you. That's why some of y'all don't leave. You think everybody needs you when technically everybody just needs God. God said, I want you to leave. I'll take care of them. Don't worry about it. I got they back. But this, but that, you'll come with all these excuses when you should have been gone. You should have been established in a new country. You should have been networking. You should have owned this business over here. None of that happens because you're too busy thinking about who you can rescue back on the plantation. That's why some of y'all ain't gone. You got a passport, but deep in your heart, you just a plantation bro. and you ain't gonna do nothing but visit some countries when you should have been gone. Shout out to my man G Mac in the building. He said, I gotta make a move. He said, I gotta do it now. If I don't know your dreams, then it can. If I don't know your dreams, then you can't shoot them down. Absolutely correct. Jamie Lamar Cole. That's true. Shout out to J. Cole. Shout out to you with the $4.99, and shout out to J. Cole. That is a great, great point. Both of you guys. Shout out to Kings of Dreams once again. Let's go back to the video, gentlemen. Let's go about right here.
I should just accept the fact that, you know, sometimes black people do pop up in trees. I should just accept the fact that if I have a little black boy, that he may not make it home. Just accept the fact that it's okay for them to round up people based off of what they look like. I should just accept the fact that slave labor is ingrained in this country and just deal with it. I should just accept the fact that I'm seen as a second-class citizen even though my ancestors built this country. I should just accept the fact that little 90-year-old white ladies call me the N-word at work. I should...
Let me check and see, G Turner. Let me check and see. I don't want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Because I'm not seeing them so far. But let me make sure. Excuse me, gentlemen. I got Theo's, MBJ, Kings and Dreams. Nope, I don't see them going through, G Turner. You can always support on the PayPal or Super Chats. And I'll just read your comment. If you just put something in the comment, I'll read it for you as well. But no, I don't see any Super Chats going through. All right, let's go back.
Just stay in America and never look for a better life for me, my husband, or my unborn children. You are so right. That makes so much sense. You know how silly that sounds?
When y'all be saying y'all hate America, where the fuck is y'all going? Like, is y'all finna go build another country?
That's the mistake that a lot of people think, that when we get ready to leave, that we must hate America. We do not hate America. I don't know where they get that narrative from, that you have to hate something to leave something. I'll say that again. Where did they get that narrative that you have to hate something in order to leave something? For most of us, we don't have to hate our ex-girlfriends to leave her. It just didn't work out for one reason or another. She didn't have to hate us to leave us. It just didn't work out for one reason or another. We do not have to hate the United States in order to leave it. Many of us love the United States, appreciate the United States, wouldn't have wanted to be born anywhere else but the United States. But that doesn't mean that we can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I could love the United States and leave her at the exact same time. Like I always say, the United States is the girl that I took to the prom. But she don't look like that no more. But I don't hate her. She's the girl that I took to the prom, but she don't look like that no more. That's the crazy part. Yep. Blacks will be the fourth underclass. And I thought about that the other day too. In America by 2045, and will still be in the States complaining. All these Latin people here, blah, blah, blah. All these Asian people here, blah, blah. Still whining, still complaining, still ain't going nowhere, still ain't got no political power. While everybody else is progressing. So true. You say bonnet on her head. She can't tell me nothing. Rocking the bonnet. G. Turner says this. He said, let's talk about Alicia Diaz. She's walking confirmation that we're on the right. Oh, that we're on the right track for going abroad. 50,000. Yeah, that chick, she cute. Don't get me wrong, she is cute. But she ain't Come on, dog. Wouldn't it seem better than that in Brazil just walking down the street? She killed. But it's some European chicks that blow her beauty out the water. She killed. But come on now. Ain't nobody in Venezuela. She can't compete with a lot of these Venezuelan chicks and a lot of these Colombian chicks that work at KFC. That's why I always say there are certain women that need to stay in the United States because their beauty stands out in a country with 70% overweight women. Yes, women like that, like Elisa. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Alicia. If I pronounce it correctly, blame it on my head, not my heart. Diaz. She looks good compared to American chicks. She comes out of America. She looked like a chick that you would just smash. That's it, man. I see chicks like her all day long when I go to the gym, all day long when I go to the grocery store. I got chicks like that look like that in my church. So, yeah, the Matrix women are cooked. Yes, sir. Hibachi style. Hibachi style. Hoo-wee. Aisha. Hope I pronounced it correctly, Jay. Is it Aisha? I hope I pronounced it, but hey. Let's get back to the video. With the bonnet on her head.
Or something, because everywhere else is damn full. So unless we going to go build another country, where is y'all going? Because y'all go anywhere else, y'all gonna get treated way worse, especially being black. So where is y'all going? Jamaica? Then y'all be saying crazy places. I'm finna go to China. Girl, I'm not going over there. I mean, I love my Chinese people, but I'm not going over there. No, I'm not going nowhere where they have like a difference of opinion as far as religion. They don't respect our English. They don't respect my skin color all more than I get
like
treated.
Asia?
Worse than I get treated here. Have you
Is it Asia? Did I pronounce it correctly? Asia?
seen the prisons in those other places and what they will lock you up for?
Oh, so it's pronounced Aisha. Aisha, you were the girl that. Okay.
Child, I love America. Where y'all going? If anything, you should be going to Jamaica or something. Go to Jamaica. I love Jamaica. I travel by myself all the time, but I never travel to any place that don't have those top 3 things.
She said she loved Jamaica, the bamboo capital. David said, please, whatever you fellas don't, please do not tell her where we're. I was thinking the same thing. Do not tell her where we're going, fellas. Don't let her follow us, for real. We got enough big passport sisters following us. Yeah, she couldn't afford the ticket to China anyway. That's a good point.
What's it going to take for black people to give up on this country? Okay, now wait. I know that so many black people are going to say, oh, but my ancestors built this country.
This sister's about to spit some facts.
They put their sweat and tears into this ground. We belong here. This is our divine right to stay here because we did all our ancestors work for us to be here. Listen, hey, our ancestors were kidnapped. They were brought here against their will. Many of them jumped into the ocean before they got here, and I guess they wouldn't be our ancestor because they wouldn't have gotten here. But they did not want to be here is what I'm trying to say. And when they were here, they were forced to build the thing. Yeah, they built it, but not because they wanted to. So why do you feel like that they would want you to be here more than they would want you to leave? Like the ancestors, the original ancestors who were literally that were kidnapped and brought on the boat, those ancestors, what do you think they would want? You think they would want you to stay here, or do you think they would want you to go back to the motherland? Go back to their homeland, go back to where they were raised, where they grew up, go back to understanding their cultural practices, understanding how they practice spirituality. Like, why is that? Why do you not care about those ancestors? Why do you only care about the ones that just most recently were fighting for, civil rights and things? And here's the thing. Like, okay, we did all that fighting to get rid of end of slavery, won that. But we really didn't. They're still enslaving black bodies in prisons. They just do it behind bars instead of in fields. They did all that to, you know, then there was sharecropping. I don't know if you guys remember sharecropping right after slavery. It was, you know, you can work for the land, which was just another version of slavery. And then they ended sharecropping, and then they had the whole civil rights. You guys, you can't drink here, you can't sit here, you come in this restaurant, and we all the you know, what they did, the picnics, and all of the stuff they did there, and we had to fight to get that taken care of. And then after they got rid of civil rights, they did redlining to ensure we couldn't get financial help to get homes, so that we didn't have, you know, first of all, they never gave us our 40 acres and a mule after slavery, and they promised we would get that. Never got that. They're never going to give us reparations. They never can give us reparations, because if they gave us what they owed us, they would have to give us the entire country, which they're not going to do. Okay, so then after civil rights was over, they did redlining, and then after redlining, they did the credit system. Then they did the education system. They put a tuition, and then again, till this day, they have the school to prison pipeline. Like, they have every step of the way, they have put something in place to stop Black economic growth. And they're like, whenever we said, okay, forget all your systems, we'll build our Black Wall Street, we'll build our Rosewood, we'll build Atlanta. And what do they did? Burn down Black Wall Street, dismantle Rosewood, and now they just built that big ass, the biggest police training facility in all of America right beside Atlanta. Y'all think that's a coincidence? No. Like, no matter what we do, they are going to figure out a way to stop us from being successful in this country, because we do not have the political power in this country. We can try to get economic power. We can try to use our power in any way I can, but they're going to put psychological factors in front of us. They're going to put out propaganda in the media. They're going to do whatever they can to keep us down.
How do I convince my wife to leave the USA before it's too late? I'm so ready to sell everything and leave. You can't.
Y'all heard what she just said. Somebody wrote her and said, quite obviously might have been a guy saying, how do I get my wife to leave America? I am ready to sell everything. And she said, you can't. And I say, she's right. Unless both of you are evenly yoked, when it comes to the understanding of relocating to the United States, some of you guys, that's why many of us go on monk mode. That's why some of us ain't got no kids talking about leaving the United States, and then you have new babies. That's why ain't none of us do. There is not, you're supposed to be in a position, if you're and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you're leaving in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm not talking about you guys that are leaving in the future. We're going to talk about you guys in a second. But if you're really leaving in the next 3 to 5 years, ain't no way you supposed to be having condomless sex. Ain't no way you supposed to have a serious girlfriend. Ain't no way you supposed to be letting any woman think she got a chance with you, and you know that you're seriously leaving in 3 to 5 years. In 3 to 5 years, shouldn't be no new babies born through you. Wrap it up. In 3 to 5 years, shouldn't be no new chicks that think that she got a lifelong chance with you, knowing that your black butt is leaving in 3 to 5 years. I didn't make any woman think, and I know plenty of guys that made sure not one woman in the West ever got comfortable and thought she had a lifelong chance with them. I know guys that told women, listen, hey, I'm leaving the United States in 5 years, so if you're gonna give me the coochie, we just having some fun for 3 years. Take me with you. No. Can I still get the coochie? I know guys that have been honest with, don't lie to women. If you're leaving in 3 to 5 years, your lying to women days in the States are over. You have no reason to lie. I mean this. Lying to get some coochie, them days are done. You should have been done with that years ago. But the days of doing all that is done. If you get the coochie, cool. If you don't, cool. You out the door anyway. You out the door anyway. I kid you not, dude. There is no way you should be talking about I'm leaving in 3 years and you got a 1.5-year-old born in 2027. What? You telling me that you're so adamant and passionate, and you've saved your money, and you've been focusing, and you've been traveling back and forth to these countries. You finally find a country that you want to be your home country. You've examined what neighborhood you want to live in, which city you want to live in. You are so excited. Not all you're doing is just stacking and making sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's of life, because in 3 to 5 years you are out. And what do? You in the States shooting up the club like a fool. I made sure, and many other men make sure, we did not put ourselves in a position for any surprises. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you are that serious about leaving, prove it. Prove it with being responsible with your sex life. Prove it by being responsible and not letting these women in the States think they got a chance. I'd rather have a woman, and I mean this, I would rather be happy for a woman than to lie to a woman. If you gave me the coochie before I left, thank you. But you knew I was leaving, right? But to sit up here and you guys be all up in females' faces, yeah, baby, yeah, baby, and you ain't told her nothing about the fact that you're about to leave in 3 to 5 years, don't do that. You don't want that type of evil while you trying to establish a new life in a new country. You don't need no karma, no evil coming to your way, man. You need your travel or your journey to your new country to be a smooth transition. You don't need no evil coming your way because of some stupid stuff that you did in the name of getting some coochie or keeping some coochie in the United States. Sometimes you got to let the coochie go that you know that you ain't going to be with. You know you're not going to be with her in 3 years. Why are you telling her and pretending like you are? I'm serious. Why are you? Because I can. Yes, you can. But like I said, don't let that evil keep following you, and don't think that evil ain't going to follow you to your new country, and you're going to be wondering why in the first year everything keep on going topsy-turvy, because you keep bringing that evil that you did in the United States to them stateside chicks. You want your slate to be clean. You want your spiritual, emotional, social, economic slate to be clean when you go to another country. You want your mental state to be clean. So if you think you coming to another country, that's the part that guys don't want to talk about of what we did. Y'all want to move to other countries like us, but when we tell y'all how we did it, y'all want to call us crazy. A part of how we did it is we stopped letting women in our home countries think they had a chance with us. No, boo, you don't. I'm leaving in 3 years. I'm leaving in 5 years. For all you dudes that's going to be leaving in 10 to 15 years. Y'all ready? Let's talk for a second. Same rules apply to you. So you're going to get married in the States and knowing that you're going to get divorced in 15 years if you plan on leaving. Well, maybe she might want to come with me. Statistics show that very few couples leave the United States together. There are a lot that do, but not most. And now you're stuck in the States, dream deferred, because you married a stateside chick that does not want to leave the United States. She doesn't want to take her kids. She doesn't want to be away from her mama. She don't want you to be away from your mama. No, you are not moving to another country. No, we are staying here. You might as well buy a house here because you are not going anywhere. Dream deferred. You can go visit that country, but you can't never live the dream of living outside the United States. Now you stuck for a female. Your life is stuck for a female that you weren't even married to a couple years ago. So the same rules apply to you, brother. And I know y'all think you crazy, it ain't that serious. Okay, cool. Don't do it. You know you can't tell black men nothing anyway. We hard-headed. We got to learn the hard way. I'm trying to tell you the easy way to do it without you hurting her feelings or you getting your feelings hurt. But go and do it your way. I don't know what I'm talking about. The other brothers who left, Richie Mack don't know what he's talking about. You think Richie Mack left America with a bunch of American chicks and some new kids? What about Ace Live? You think Ace Live left the United States and checking effect doing all this traveling and they had women in love with them back in the States? Or did they have their slate clean? See, y'all don't want to think about that part. We had to sacrifice in order to get to do what we're doing, where we are. You think Will or T-Mac or J. Clyde, all them brothers in Medellin, you think all them dudes just had like 5, 6 women in the States? And then when they decided to move to Colombia, they still had the women waiting around in the States as if those women in the States had a chance with them in the future. No, we had to wipe our slates clean. Okay.
I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay.
Yeah. You right on cue. You're written this dude right on cue. AMSM, a man supporting me, and says this. He said, great point, Andre. He said, I want more kids, but I'm waiting until I relocate to another country. Absolutely correct. I just talked to a very well-known brother in the travel space. And he called me the other day. He said, Dre, I'm about to have he has his home and he's happy in his country. And he said, I'm about to have my first shorty. And we celebrated as brothers. And you know why I celebrated with him? Because that brother was disciplined enough not to have a kid in a country that he no longer wanted to live in. Where is that, Andre? The United States. He was wise enough to wrap it up. So when he did move outside the United States and did find his good woman, now him and his good woman, who he's been together with for a while, are having their first child. They're both celebrating something. But he had to make the sacrifice of letting women in the States know, baby, I ain't gonna be here. So if you give me the coochie, cool, I'm gonna put a condom on. But if you don't give me the coochie in the United States anymore, cool, because I'm leaving. I'm leaving, boo. So if you stateside chicks give me the coochie, thank you. But do realize if you give it to me or if you don't, I'm leaving. But a lot of you dudes want a lot of women and make them think they still got a chance. When you know, and I know, those women do not have a snowball chance in hell to get you to stay in the States. And since you know that, stop lying to stateside women. You do not want that evil to come up on you, bro. You do not want that evil to come your way. Growth says this. Shout out to Kofi in the building. Once again, he say, listen to Dre. He say, don't be me. He said, I was brand new to the travel space in 2021. Me and my ex tried again and made a son. I set myself back 10 years. I love my son, but his mom is an ex again. Let's not let this brother's testimony fly by. He said, I set myself back 10 years. You know where that comes from? Being a good dad and a good man. See, Pookie and them will get a chick pregnant in the States and leave. But the dream gets deferred for good men because you know you're going to stay for your shorty. That's the part. That's why I say, guys, be careful when it comes to getting women pregnant, because you're a good dude. If a good dude get a woman pregnant, we sacrifice for our child. So we gonna defer our dream. Good dudes, good fathers, we defer our dream. I want to leave in this stage, but now little mama pregnant. I gotta be here for my shorty. I'm a good man. I'm gonna be a good dad. But the dream got deferred because I shot up the club with my ex, who's again my ex. I'm telling you guys, man, if you are a good man, you need to be number one, wrap it up with duct tape. Because good men are not going to leave their kids. And since you're a good man, you cannot afford to have new babies brought into the world while you're in the country that you don't want to live in anymore. If you still want to live in the States, that would be one thing. But since most of us don't want to live in the States, why are we giving birth to children as good men in a country that we really don't even want to be in? That's my point. Kofa says this. Shout out to you, brother. That's great testimony. He say, wrap it up every day. He say, wrap it up every time, or if you already have kids, get it snipped. Yep, snip. Vasectomy, in other words, if you don't want any more kids, gentlemen. He said, I promise, it's not that bad. Yep, it's not. Take it from me, it's not. He said, mine may work even better now. Absolutely correct. A lot of guys have a misconception of vasectomy, and they think that your thing ain't gonna work. No, bruh, it's not like that. He is 100% correct. It is not what you think it is, bruh. And you can get it reversed. I'm going to say that again. Now technology has it. You guys are blessed because you can get a vasectomy and you can also get it reversed years later. So he's absolutely correct. Snip, and it does not impact your performance. I kid you, and I promise you, it does not. He is 1% correct. So those that are thinking about doing it, don't let it. Don't let yourself be distracted. He said, I don't know about that. Of course, we have this kind of like this misconception of vasectomies for men. But I'm telling you. He said, plan B is my treat. Oh, I'm definitely sure. I'm definitely sure. I would not tell y'all something I wouldn't already know, guys. Yeah, you can get a reverse. When they give you a vasectomy, bruh, all they do is separate, they create this like a bridge. Each one of your nuts have this kind of like this vein that's a bridge. It doesn't hurt like a bunch of dudes try to make it seem like, oh my God, I can't go to work today. That's a lie. He's 100% correct. He's like a bridge. And what they do is snip the bridge. That's all they do. That's it. That's literally it. Your bridge gets snipped. Now, when they reverse it, they sew the bridge back together. So now you can have kids. And that's it. I kid you not. That's it. Guys be overthink. Hey, Kofa, these dudes, I did that. Kofa, come on. I was like that too. I overthought it too. In my mind, he was coming with some hedge clippers, bro. I kid you not. In my mind, I don't know why I was always thinking about hedge clippers, but in my mind, vasectomy meant like hedge clippers. He coming with these hedge clippers. Man, by the time he got done telling me about his, he was done with mine. By the time the doctor got done telling me about his, he was done with mine. It wasn't, talking about moments. It wasn't like 20, 30 minutes and they had to sew. It was, let me get to the next nut. Boom, you're done. That was it. Already went to the doctors to get, me and Andre are focusing on getting a shorty next year, right? So we've already went to the specialist about reversal. I got a partner. I got partners that got kids after their reversals. All right, partners. They kids like teenagers now. They got it done at the end of their first marriage, one of my partners, and he's got a couple kids already. Marriage didn't work out. Got married again. They've been together for like almost 30 years now. And a few years into the marriage, they want to have some kids because they already had kids. She had a little girl. Those kids grew up and they want to have one together as a new couple. He got a reverse. Not even a couple years later, they had a shorty. Actually, they got 2 kids now. 2 new kids after his reversal. Yeah, I know a lot of guys have the, like I said, I had all these mental misconceptions about what it was too, bro. So all you brothers that think like that, I did too. so don't feel like you having all these thoughts like, no, man, ain't nobody gonna mess with me. It's gonna no, it's nothing like what you think it is. It's nothing like what you think it is. I kid you not, man. The lies we tell ourselves as men. He says this. He said, one more. He said, and why? He said, I'm saying this. I wasn't thinking about it moving until a little later. Then found out that she had my son, when it came to relocating, he didn't think about it till a little later. He said, but she had my son, found out she had my son. And after she lied about the deletion, in other words, she said that she deleted, but she didn't, and hid my son from me for 2 years. That's why he's saying, guys, do not be me. Wrap it up or get it snipped. I was squirming in my seat too, because I had all these mental misconceptions too, bro. It's nothing like what you think it is. I mean, literally, whatever you think it is, it's the exact opposite. I don't know who in the male community started spreading the lies about vasectomies and made it seem like it was this monstrous thing and your penis is not going to work anymore and your body's going to fall apart. Bruh. I got a 31-year-old wife, bruh. You think a 31-year-old wife going to be with a dude that can't? Let's be real. Yeah, man. Don't let that lie fool you. Shout out to James in the building. Before we get back to the video, Jay says this. He said, greetings, Dre. He said, one of your quotes, he said, the laws. That's right, the laws. That's one of the reasons why we leave. He said, hinder men from full engagement with children. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Courts dictate parenting. Watch out. That's another thing. Child support you got to deal with. Yeah, watch out for child support while will block a man from getting his passport. That's true too. So all this stuff just because you wanted to get that nut off on that chick. All this, oh man, no. Yeah, Dave said I did monk mode for 7 years and travel back and forth. Yep, every month until I moved to. I be telling dudes, monk mode means take your sex life overseas. If you really that horny, you spend your time in the United States making that money before you leave. But I ain't leaving for 7 years. Like I said, if you really that horny and you don't know how to wrap it up in the States and I ain't getting no vasectomy, okay, cool. Then you better put your sex life on monk mode. Meaning while you in the States, your job is to focus on your grind, not her behind. When you leave, get your freak on, player. Let's say you plan on living in DR. You might go to DR 5-6 times a year. Get your freak on in DR. But when you get back to the States, you on monk mode. Get money, read books, stay focused. Get your spirit right, your mind right, take therapy, whatever it is. But monk mode means I am not letting the United States women dictate my sex life ever again. And if I got to take 12 flights to DR, so be it. I'm not going to let these women in the United States get me caught up with them laws that me and my brother was just talking about. Child support. Now I got to worry about my passport being threatened and all the rest of that mess because I didn't know how to put my sex life on monk mode. Yeah, man. I pondered over that thumbnail. Andrew said, Mukmo saved my life in Florida in the Panhandle. Shout out to the Panhandle brothers. He said, it gets messy like a bad reality show. That's serious, man. Yep. Shout out to the Panhandle. Them boys up in Florida, in Pensacola, Florida, in that area. I-10, in other words. I-10 from Jacksonville. Let's get back to the video, gentlemen. We got quite a bit to get to. I don't want to be here too late because I know some of us got things to do in the morning.
You can't. See, and that's why I'm in the business of just giving people info in this country, because we do not have.
That sister that's coming up was just talking about, she got a letter from or somebody sent her a message. How can I get my wife to want to move to another country with me? I'm ready to go. And the sister responded, I'm sorry, brother. You can't convince your wife. And that's another reason why some of you dudes need to be on monk mode, because you cannot convince a woman to leave if she doesn't want to leave.
The political power in this country. We can try to get economic power. We can try to use our power in any way I can, but they're going to put psychological factors in front of us.
And leave. You can't. You can't. See, and that's why I'm in the business of
try to use our power in any way I can, but they're going to put psychological factors in front of us. They're going to put out propaganda in the media. They're going to do whatever they can to keep us down.
How do I convince my wife to leave the USA before it's too late? I'm so ready to sell everything and leave. You can't. You can't. See, and that's why I'm in the business of just giving people information. I am not a persuasion coach. I honestly don't believe that if someone has been, I don't want to say institutionalized, but if they believe that they're in the best place for them, even if it's a sinking ship, there's nothing that you can do to convince them otherwise. I have my own family members who think that I'm living in a bush or something somewhere, and they see how my life is on social media. I talk to them about my life and they still be like, "Ooh, girl, I could never. Meanwhile, they're staying in an apartment that they can't afford. Their car is up for repo and they're working 4 jobs just to keep up with their $4,000 rent.
Preach.
Like, some people just not gonna get it. The ones that get it, and then they get out. The ones who don't, they just don't. And it's very unfortunate when somebody like is in a relationship and one of them really wants to leave and one of them really wants to go, but there's not really much that you can do to convince somebody to leave the country that they've known their whole life to go to a different country. If you do somehow convince them to go to a different country, at every slight inconvenience, they're going to resent you for that. So I never tried to convince anybody to move anywhere. I just try to shed light on situations by giving information, but convincing somebody, I hate to say it, but I just feel like it's impossible. I just feel like it's truly impossible.
People keep saying that the new American dream is to leave America. And coming from somebody who's had the American dream, you know, the house, the pool, the land, the marriage, I feel like they may be right. When you have all of that and you realize that that doesn't make you happy, then you start really thinking about like, okay, what can I do to make me happy? And for me, happiness was time and freedom.
Before she goes any further, the other young lady that just spoke was speaking about a couple that can't move together. I've been following this young lady that's on the screen, and her husband moved out of the United States together. So they were on one accord. So yes, there are couples that won't be able to move because your lady friend or your wife doesn't want to move. And then you have couples like this young lady on the screen. Her and her husband are on one accord and they move together. Shout out to my brother Pete in the building. He says this. He said, Andre Spence is the big brother that we needed but never had. He said, thank you, Dorothy Lee. Shout out to my mom. Thank you, Dorothy Lee, for sharing him with us. You are appreciated, brother. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I thank you for that, man. I thank you for that. I really do, man. That hit my heart. I needed that. Let's continue on, gentlemen.
currency is time, having the time to actually live this one life that you get on this earth. I would have to agree, the new American dream for some people is to leave America and not live a life that is a part of the rat race of America to get an American dream that is basically unattainable. We moved out of our house and we're renting it out, and we're actively trying to leave the country so that we can experience life where you have time to do things that you want to do in life.
Yeah, I just think you have to accept the fact that you are going to either be left by someone you love, and when I say left, meaning leave the United States, or you're going to have to leave somebody you love. Everybody's not going to be.
Ooh, do not let that slide by. When it comes to travel, you going to get left by somebody you love, or you going to have to leave somebody you love when it comes to this travel journey, going and relocating to new countries.
On board. Stop waiting around for people to get it. You don't have time. You don't have time.
This is gonna put some Karen's panties in a knots, but I'm gonna have to say it. I don't think most Americans want to leave America and buy land in a different country. I think most Americans would prefer to stay where they are born and their ancestors immigrated to. However, most Americans don't have the privilege to buy land in America, so we are being forced to leave in order to have our basic needs met. You look at the little like Maslow hierarchy. If you don't got money and if you don't got certain privileges, you're fucked. You can't go out and pick some mangoes off of a mango tree or have some platanos in your backyard. They have built the system where we have to rely on certain things in order to survive. I don't think most Americans want to go to a different country and build a life away from everything they know. But we are being forced to go to a different country in order to have our basic needs met and to feel comfortable and safe where we are living. I don't know. Just through food for thought. We could dive into the whole consequences of that, of gentrification and exploitation and using people and stealing land, but I don't think necessarily people want to leave a home where they feel comfortable and everything's convenient. But we're being forced to, because we realize that there's things that are better than actually here.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, save this video. If you want to leave America, I'm gonna tell you what to do. Grab a pen, grab a notebook, write down USA, pros and cons. Then write down whatever country you want to stay in. It can be Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, China, anywhere in the world. Write down pros and cons. Once you have America, pros and cons, in China, pros and cons, or whatever country you choose, complete the pros and cons. Once you have the pros and cons finished, sit down and look at this paper. If the country that you chose has more pros than America, that's your sign to leave. More pros than America and less cons than America, that is your sign to leave. Now what you do, flip the page, make a plan. How much money do you need to get there? What type of business you can start online? And how can you get a visa? This is what you need to do. Self-analyze. You can go on TikTok, scroll, look at all these people like me making content, but until you sit down and make a real plan, nothing is going to work. And this is what I did in China. This is when I figured out that China was better than America for me. And honestly, after y'all finish and y'all look at this paper and reflect on it, you might be surprised, because you'll be able to see with your own two eyes that America has nothing to offer. Complete trash, bro. When I saw my list was terrible. My list was terrible. I said, all right, this is what America has to offer me? Bet, I'm out. But hey, if y'all need help moving abroad, please follow me and DM me on Instagram at Worldwide Hassan, or you can click the link in the bio. Cause I know y'all sick and tired of this place.
The only reason I ain't leaving America as a black person, cause I don't want to go nowhere where my people not gonna be at.
That is the dumbest excuse. We're everywhere. There are Facebook groups of black people everywhere. Theo says the pros of living in Detroit: dodgeball with red bullets. Absolutely correct. With real bullets. He said, once again, I choose to leave. She can speak for herself. I don't need pen or paper. He said, I just need great internet. True. And follow Theo's plan. Facts. peace and success. What could be better? Absolutely correct. Yep. And E-Man said this also for us. He said that's why it's crypto and passports equal in freedom. You got Brazil, Colombia, and Thailand. Absolutely correct. My brother asked this. He said, is she talking about Americans or black people? The one young lady with the mangoes was just talking about Americans in general. This young lady is talking about black people. I don't want to go nowhere without my paper. Knowing she sounds like she's talking about only hood people. So let's hear what she has to say. I ain't going nowhere without my paper.
People are. So unfortunately, I am here to stay, just like my ancestors.
I hate that a lot of y'all are punk ass bitches. Instead of you defending your home.
She said she hate that y'all are punk ass bitches because y'all did not stay in America to defend y'all home with your punk asses. I'm gonna bring that back. She said y'all some punk ass bitches for not staying in the United States. Shout out to Little Bonnet. Little mama with the bonnet. Y'all some punk ass bitches for not staying.
Person, because I don't want to go nowhere where my people not gonna be at. I don't want to go nowhere I can't find no good soul food. I'm not gonna lie. I want to be where my culture is and where my people are. So unfortunately, I am here to stay, just like my ancestors.
I hate that a lot of y'all are punk ass bitches. Instead of you defending your home, which is the United States of America, from this shitty ass government that we have right now and ICE and all that, you would rather run to another country that also has these problems, where the people are still overworked and underpaid. Every government is corrupt, no matter where the fuck you go. They may live a little nicer, but the government is corrupt anywhere you go. The problem is government worldwide. They're all one side of a coin. Instead of you trying to move out of the United States of America, get your punk pussy ass up and stand for something. I know some of y'all are like, oh, well, I got kids. No, and you know exactly where this world was going before you had them fucking kids. So y'all get in the field.
Now that I left the United States, this is the main thing that I realized. The United States be bullshitting us. They be literally capping, they be lying, they be fabricating, they literally lie to us our whole damn life. Do you know, when I was in New York, in America, I used to research where to go, how to go to Thailand, how to go to Bali, how to go to all these damn countries. And do you know what I found out? All these countries are very dangerous. Don't even step foot in Thailand because you're gonna get robbed. This is the most dangerous place you're ever gonna be at. Yeah, I've been here for almost 3 to 4 months. I've been in Bangkok. I've been in Chiang Mai. I've been in damn Pattaya. Yeah, nobody's arguing. Nobody's fighting. Nobody's dangerous out here. There is nobody killing. Nothing. Zero. Nada. Nothing what the hell they told me that was gonna happen in America. And I came over here and it didn't happen. They're lying to us. But one problem is the news. Did you ever realize on the news, when have they ever spread positivity about somewhere? If you are watching the news and it's talking about a different country or a different place, is it good news or is it bad news? So again, if you want to continue getting brainwashed by the United States, if you want to continue listening to the news and listening to what the hell they got orchestrated over there, yeah, you're going to get brainwashed and you're going to be living in the past. I was in Brooklyn, New York. I was in America. I left America. Way much better living, but stay over there if you want.
Comment down below countries that I should move to if I move out of the US, because I don't think I ever would leave, like, weirdly. It's like trauma bond. Like, I have to stay here because every other country sounds so boring to me. No offense to you guys, but like, I don't want to move to Canada. Oh, I don't want to. Even though I did go to Canada for 1 week, the entire week, I felt the safest that I've ever felt in my whole life, because I was like, no one can shoot me here because guns are not allowed here or something like that. So I feel like that was nice, but it was also really, really boring. I just feel like America is really weird, but it's also just like no other place is like it. And I think it's just like that odd patriotism that I have in my veins. It's just stuck in here.
Coming here to Thailand so I can just relax
and be stress-free and just live. I was surviving in America. Now I'm living. I am thriving.
What do you think is the biggest difference about living in Thailand than America?
When I come to Thailand, you get treated with royalty. You get treated like a human being, not the color of your skin. Nobody judges you here. And so that resonates with me.
My baby don't mess around because she loves me so.
$350 in Malaysia, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a wonderful view. Look at that view. Look at that view. For $350.
Don't try to fight the feeling.
Grass patio.
Alone is killing me right now. Thank God for mom and dad for sticking together, but we don't know how.
Here's how much I stood out as a black traveler in South America, rated by country. In Colombia, I barely stood out, especially on the Caribbean coast and places like Cali.
Oh, there go my spot. That's my salsa club right there. I'm always there. La Topa. And they dance there, boy. You ain't you gonna dance in there.
Heart of salsa. There's a huge black population there. Now in places like Bogota and more inland, you do feel a little, but overall I blended in way more than I expected. Ecuador was a completely different story. People literally stared at me, not in a bad way, but more like, who is this huge dude? Because mind you, I'm only like 6 feet and I'm a little bit muscular. So like when I would go to the gym, I would catch them staring at me in awe. And like I'd never experienced that before. But I just didn't see that many black people, not living there, not traveling there. And most travelers were Caucasian. So yeah, definitely stood out. Peru is similar to Ecuador, but because it's more touristic, I saw more black travelers, not many black locals, but definitely more tourists who look like me. So I stood out, but not as much. Brazil was literally zero. More than half of the country here is black. And so the second I landed, I felt like I was coming home. I blended right in. The vibe, the people, the culture, it just felt natural.
No, we moved here. We had about 6,000 US dollars
in hand.
In hand.
And bank account.
Now, this couple moved to Ghana, and they're telling their story when they moved to Ghana. Shout out to my brother G Turner with the $10 love on the Cash App. Appreciate you, brother. He said, for what you said about the kids, thanks again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said only 6 feet, 6'2". That's tall in South America. That is tall.
Nothing.
But when you want to be free, it doesn't matter what it is you have to do to get to that freedom. And that's what we chose here. We'd rather be here with nothing than to go to America with something. We've been lied to all my life. It's not what they say it is at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's something different. You get to actually think here. You know, in America, you don't have enough time to think. Your brain is just speeding real fast. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay that. It's about time you do all of this, you wanna go to sleep, you gotta get back up and do it again. Same, just going over and over and over. Yes.
The rat race, like
it's scary, and before you know, you're either sick or dead. Maybe one more regret that my mom didn't get to come. Yeah, maybe I could have saved her from what she was going through with her health. So I think I regret.
Your mom is still in the U.S.?
She died a year after I got here. We came 2016. She didn't want to come when we were coming. She said she'll come later when it was time to.
Remember what I just said about family? And what the other brother was saying about, trying to convince your elders? Remember what the one lady said? She said, you're going to have to end up leaving somebody that you love, or somebody that you love going to end up leaving you. You're going to end up leaving somebody that you love, or somebody that you love are going to end up leaving you. Once again, shout out to Gavin for the $5 love and the $10 love on the Cash App.
Really get back and try to get her back here. She didn't make it.
Don't go to China. They racist. They don't like black people. That's why I left, because they hate black people. They hate black people so much, they'll fly you over there for free and give you a nice, fully furnished apartment and pay you the same salary that you are currently making in America or even more. They're going to invite you to dinners, give you all these free gifts that you don't even ask for. And if you got a family, yeah, they hate them too. They hate black families, because what they're going to do with black families, not only they're going to fly all of y'all out to China, not only that, if you're working for a school, if you have kids, they can go to school for free. And by the way, international schools are extremely expensive overseas. But if you work for that school will give you benefits for your children. They crazy, they racist. So please don't go to China. Don't go to China. Stay in America. America has everything you need. You can work.
$900 a month. $900 a month, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, $10,000 to $20,000 investments. $900 a month. See what you get for $900 a month.
Today, our clients are going to be moving into their new home in China. And stay to the end because you will not believe how much they're paying for. So back in July 2025, Miss Martina and her beautiful family of 5 actually contacted us to book our Move to China services, and we have been more than happy to help them on this journey. And because we always show our lifestyle about how it is living here as Black Americans, we always get an influx of questions about how to move to China. And little do you guys know, we actually have helped 5 families move to China so far. And of course we can make a simple guide telling you guys how to move to China, but we are very hands-on with this transition because moving to China is not the easiest process. So that's why we're more hands-on with our clients, because trust, you are gonna have questions. But yeah, you guys, we have made it to our client's home, and you guys, one thing about our...
That's nice. I don't know, Dre. I don't know what city it is. He said with the right job, that's affordable. Absolutely correct. Yep. You say, wait, what? How do I apply? I ain't mad at you, brother, for real.
Clients, we do not play. The realtors that we're connected with literally know everything us and our clients are looking for. Marble floors, spacious, nice balcony, luxury, everything. And it definitely hits different seeing everyone have a smile on their face. And the fact that they are a family of 5 who moved from Georgia all the way to China is insane. And they even had some hiccups along the way, such as Frontier losing their bags getting lost in customs, but through it all, they still smiled because they knew the end result would be so worth it. But anyway, let's get into this house tour, and stay tuned because they actually have a duplex. 2 stories is insane. Oh. But yeah, you guys, this is their master bedroom. Keep in mind, all the furniture you guys are seeing actually came with their unit, and the storage space is unmatched. What sold them was this huge, luxurious living room, and the fact that everyone still gets their own room, plus an office. More on that later. And then
Danny's been trying to get guys. Shout out to Danny Flights. Danny's been trying to get guys to go to China for years, man. He's been teaching over there for years.
the kitchen, she was excited about how 24 water bottles was only $2. And they even had a dishwasher inside of their sink. That comes in handy with a family of 5. The boys had their own bathroom and their own rooms. Like, that is a steal for a parent. Their biggest goal was to find a place that would accommodate everyone, and they did just that. They even had a smart keypad that literally controlled the whole house from the lights to the security cameras. And just when you thought they had it all, they took us upstairs and showed us their office space, which is soon to be decorated. But would you guys believe that this 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom home is only $977?
Did she say 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-story home? 977, including furniture.
That later. And in the kitchen, she was excited about how 24 water bottles was only $2. And they even had a dishwasher inside of their sink. That comes in handy with a family of 5. The boys had their own bathroom and their own rooms. Like, that is a steal for a parent. Their biggest goal was to find a place that would accommodate everyone, and they did just that. They even had a smart keypad that literally controlled the whole house from the lights to the security cameras. And just when you thought they had it all, they took us upstairs and showed us their office space, which is soon to be decorated. But would you guys believe that this 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom home is only $977 a month? That will only happen in China. But yeah, to make them feel even more welcome, we surprised them with a seafood boiled pot and some corn and potatoes. And I know it sounds a little funny, but the mom expressed that they love seafood boils, so that's exactly why we decided to surprise them with that. But yeah, after visiting their home, we actually decided to go out.
I've been telling y'all, these job opportunities overseas in China are real. As y'all can see, I just picked up my visa today.
Now, the other brother with the beard was saying that they will fly you out, get you an apartment, furnished, make sure you have what you need. Let's see what this brother's saying. Does he confirm this? Does he confirm that they fly you out? Let's see.
I'm going to be leaving soon to go work my new job in China. And yes, I'll be getting all those accommodations I've been telling y'all about. Free flight there, free apartment, come fully furnished, health insurance, etc. But for those that have been saying, oh, these opportunities you talking about not real, I'm literally going to show you myself. When I get there, I got no problem showing y'all everything. Like, I'll show you the apartment they're going to provide for me, show you my work environment.
So I live in China, and the United States is not real because
$1,000. Let's check out what you get in China for $1,000.
what do you mean? What do you mean we can get a 4-bedroom apartment with a big kitchen? Look how big this kitchen is. Look how big this kitchen is. Literally, this big old kitchen for only $1,000 a month. Like, this place is huge. Don't mind all the stuff we're cleaning right now, obviously, because you gotta clean the place before you move in. But look at this. 4 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the master bedroom. Like, are you kidding? With 3 bathrooms, by the way. 1, 2, 3. The last one is in the master bedroom. So if you think that living abroad isn't lit, I don't know what to tell you, but we're about to furnish this whole place.
You can literally move to China, make $3,000 to $5,000 per month. But that salary is going to feel like you're making $10,000 to $15,000 per month. Mainly because you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to worry about insurance. You don't have to worry about gas, cable, Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about health insurance. Half of your paycheck is not going to be going from taxes. Your salary goes directly in your pocket. So, you know, people say, yeah, I take home $6,000 a month. Okay, you take it home, but how much can you save after you cover everything? Oh yeah, and in China, you don't have to worry about credit. I'm literally telling you, it's a scam. You know it's a scam. You know the whole system was created to keep you in a box. Life humbled me in 2022. I had to get another job, but guess where I got my job at? The airport, so I can go back to China. So working for somebody was never the plan. I was never meant to be average. Being average was never the plan. Working until I'm 65 was never the plan. You gotta be real with yourself, because when you choose this route, it's not easy. It's not easy if you have to work a job. It's not easy if you want to be an entrepreneur. It's not easy if you want to be a content creator.
These are the 5 things that I did to get my $340 apartment in China.
It's
Number 1, visa, obviously. I think that goes without saying. Okay, next. Number 2, the apps, or APPs, as my Chinese friends say. I'm just going to put a list of apps here. You can screenshot whatever. Number 3, rental agents. For example, when I signed my lease and everything was like getting finalized, that's when I paid the 中介费, which is the rental agent fee. Number 4, deposit. The deposit was only 1 month, nothing too crazy. I heard South Korea is like 6 months or a year or something. Hypercapitalism at its finest. And finally, number 5, which is the most important for foreigners, you need to register at the police within 24 hours. When I finalized everything, the lease is signed, my rental agent and my landlord went with me and took me to the police station. The whole process took like 10 minutes. I think it sounds daunting, but it's easy. It's easy. And those are the 5 things that I did to rent my apartment here in China.
Today, we're going shopping in China. And stay to the end because you won't believe how futuristic shopping in China really is. So as you guys know, we just got into our new apartment and we have been buying stuff for the apartment and haven't really treated ourselves in a while. So today, we're gonna see what the mall scene is like in our new area because Lord knows we need some well-deserved retail therapy. China's malls are huge. They literally always know what to do when it comes to infrastructure. And they had so many stores. They had Carhartt, they had Nike, they literally had everything. But there was this one store that really popped out to us. And it turns out they sell advanced massage technology. And we definitely need to give this chair a try. This store is called SKG and they are literally like the Apple of massage products. Does this mean we are getting old because massage products excite us? I don't know, but I know one thing, this massage chair was putting me to sleep. Apparently it was giving me a Thai massage, it was stretching my legs and everything. And it even charged my phone. China is definitely the future. The staff even brought out this neck tension reliever and man, we wish we would have been known about this product. It would have literally saved us from so many crooks in our neck. I know they were having a ball with us because we were in there trying everything. And our favorite part is, all of their products are hands-free and have red light therapy. It feels like we are literally experiencing something from 2035. And oh my gosh, don't even get us started on this knee massager. This is definitely gonna cure that knee pain from inside out. They even showed us this advanced sleep mask that is perfect for when we travel. But man, the shopping experience in China is definitely top tier. They even have more products that we don't even have time to tell you guys about. Comment the word massage to check them out now. Trust, you will not regret it. And y'all already know we had to pick up our own items as well. But yeah, shopping in China is definitely insane. So if you plan on shopping in China, be prepared to buy another suitcase because you're gonna need it. Follow for more China content.
You can never live off of $1,500 a month living in China with a family of 4. The fact that people do not believe that this is possible, let me just write down all of the bills I have for the month. We live in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, and our rent is $625 a month. Our utilities are a little bit under $75 a month, so I went ahead and rounded that up. Our groceries for the month, if we don't do a Sam's Club or a Costco's run, it's about $400 a month, and that is also including eating out. Our transportation is anywhere between $90 to $100 a month. Again, I rounded that up for you all. And our internet is with our cell phone, so they're combined together. And that's only $55 a month. And yes, this is for 4 people. So we save anywhere between $200 to $245 a month from. Yes, this has been our budget living abroad for the last 9 years, and it is possible.
Reporting live from Guangzhou, China, the business.
Before she goes any further, we're going to give a shout out to our brother Chris. Shout out to Chris and all of you guys that have been supporting the channel. Chris says this. He said, I just want to say, this is just another case of one man's trash is another man's treasure. Passport bros left what was deemed trash for treasure across the border, while those who stay thinks it's a treasure. That's a great point. That's a great point. Shout out to Deep Soul in the building as well. That is a great point. One man's trash, one country's trash, one country treats us like trash. No biggie. It's another man's treasure. This sister has been living in China for a while, and she helps people start businesses because she learned to start businesses while she was just living in China.
And manufacturing capital of the country. This message is for anyone who's been thinking about starting a business. Living in China for the past 8 years has completely shifted my mindset from being just a consumer to realizing I could actually be an owner. I moved to China at 24 years old, and over these 8 years, seeing the factories and seeing how products are made, meeting the people behind the products, it really changes how you think. You start to realize if you use a product, if you love a product, you could actually own that product and build a business around it. In 2021, I registered, sourced, and launched my own luxury press-on nail brand here in China, completely on my own. I had no idea what I was doing. I just asked questions, met suppliers face to face, and walked into factories and figured it out step by step. And this is exactly why I created the Royal Escape Tour. Not only to show you the luxury side of China and let you experience the culture, but give you real access. On this tour, you'll have the opportunity to meet real suppliers, sit with factory owners, including owners from Guangzhou, and actually explore what it looks like to build something of your own. We've helped family members do this. My partner's mom is currently sourcing her own luxury coat brand here in China. For us, this is about legacy. It's about generational wealth, and it's about helping people realize that starting a business is more possible than you think. So if you've been thinking about something, even quietly, you're in the right place. You came across this video for a reason. If you want the details on the Royal Escape Tour, comment tour down below. We're releasing new dates soon, and we'd love to have you here in China. This is Royal News. I'm Shaquela. Well, I Jen.
And I've had good relationships in my life, but I have never felt like a king or got true king treatment until I went out of this country.
Facts.
Where you're praised, especially as a black man, and one, I'm from America, and two, I'm black.
For being you, right.
It's like the world is yours whenever you leave this country.
Listen, I've traveled over 12 countries. He's absolutely correct. Case in point, he's in Thailand.
I'm okay, thank you. I'm okay.
And one of the 12 countries that I've been to is Thailand. And what you just saw is absolutely facts. Passport boys, we up. What up? Like rare kings. Cause you got.
That's why I asked you, are you ready? Are you ready to move abroad? I see.
This brother's about to make some great points. This is our last video, and listen up.
People and I see them abroad, and I'm like, they weren't ready to move abroad. The things that they're asking for, the things that they are having in America, they're expecting somewhere else. And it's not even just physical things. It's the emotion of what America provides. It's even the thought process of the customer is always right. Depending on where you go, the customer may not always be right. How do you navigate that though? With intention, because to think that you are going to take the customer is always right globally is a reason to stay in the United States. So yes, I will talk to you and tell you, if you're not ready, stay home. Don't buy a ticket. This is a free event right now. It costs you nothing. But if you're serious, you're going to need to take some time and get some resources together. What about you? When's the last time you actually looked at yourself in the mirror and saw where you were?
If you weren't already aware, there are a lot of African Americans who are actively leaving the United States and going to a number of different countries. And this comment says like, wow, you know, for the first time in history, African Americans will be dispersed around the world instead of like concentrated on this land. And I had a crazy thought, and I just need y'all to like walk with me real quick. What if we aren't supposed to be here? Have we thought about that? What if we aren't supposed to be here? What if we are supposed to leave this country on our own terms? We weren't brought here on our own terms. So what if we were supposed to leave on our own terms? It's kind of crazy how you fight for the same thing for 400 years and, you know, what do you get from it? And I'm not taking away from our ancestors and all of the strides that they made. What I'm saying is when you do something over and over expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity. We made strides. So it's...
We're going to end it right there. We already saw that video. Shout out to all you guys that hung out with your boy until full after 10:30 here Eastern. And my point in showing this, and I'm going to always show these type of videos to keep you guys encouraged while you're on your journey to relocate to another country. I know it's not easy. I know it can be scary. I know there's a difference between just going as a vacationer and as a relocator compared to being a relocator. So I know it's not easy, and I know you're trying to get everything in order, but I just want you to be encouraged and realize, guys, you can do it. Ladies, you too, you can get it done. You can be just like us, standing on the iceberg, watching the Titanic go down, instead of standing on the Titanic, watching the iceberg sit there. No one said the iceberg sank, but historically, the Titanic sank. Shout out to all you guys. Yes, sir. My brother says this. He say this channel is just the absolute blessing. It's giving me so much hope. Thank you. And that's our plan, man. I kid you not. This is our plan. We've been here for this April will be our 7th year anniversary. April 9th will be our 7th year anniversary on YouTube. And we're going to continue to keep you guys encouraged. Shout out to Class 7 and Theo's classes. Yes, sir. So you guys get you some rest. Let's get some outro videos going. Shall we? Shall we? Yes, sir. We're going to go with the salsa first. Then we're going to come with the cowgirls.
Vamos a bailar. Sandunguera. Paranchera, vamos a bailar. Ay, la sala está llena de gente, cuerpos sudorosos acá. La pista está hirviendo, pero te destaca mamá, brillando como una estrella. Mira qué bonita está. Escucha el coro, mamita, que te voy a dar. Sandunguera, paranchera, vamos a bailar, vamos a bailar. Paranchera, vamos a bailar. Ay, siempre un paso para adelante, después un paso para atrás. Ahora te suelto, mamita, muévete con el ritmo que va. Sandunguera, te estoy llamando, mira qué bonita estás. Escucha el coro de nuevo que te voy a dar. Sandunguera, sandunguera, paranchera, vamos a bailar. Vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar. Sandunguera, paranchera, vamos a bailar. Ay, sandunguera linda, vamos a bailar tú y yo. Ay, qué sabroso. Vamos a bailar, mi nena linda, vamos a gozar. Vamos a gozar. Muévete, sandunguera, vamos a guarachar. Ay, repítelo. Vamos a bailar, mi nena linda, vamos a gozar. Ay, vamos a guarachar, mamá. Sandunguera, vamos a guarachar. Oye, mira, mami, vamos a gozar, vamos a bailar. Vamos a gozar. Juntos tú y yo en la pista, mami. Vamos a guarachar. Ahora vamos a gozar. Ay, esa cosa que me hiciste, mami, me gustó. Vamos a guarachar. Muévete bien, chiquita. Vamos a gozar. Mueve tu cuerpo y tu cinturita. Vamos a guarachar. Oye, el ritmo te está llamando ahora. Vamos a gozar. Este ritmo es para guarachar, señora. Vamos a guarachar. Ay, camina con el mambo ahí. Vamos a gozar, si mamá guerrera oye Lola. Vamos a guarachar, vamos a guarachar, vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar. Ay, qué rico está, qué rico. Vamos a guarachar.